Yo, yo, yo. A little too loud for my liking, but what are you going to do? What's going on, everybody? One day, 15 hours. What's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. What's going on? Hey, Chris. Vampire, what's up? What's going on, everybody? All right. All right, we got some catching up to do here. As I said last night, I've been keeping low key on this game, and yeah, Thursday, 12 o'clock. Man, the graphics are looking unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. So I have literally watched maybe 2 minutes. I've not watched any of the interviews. I've watched the trailers and stuff. Obviously, the first one when it came out. But, so I'm going to try to watch as much as we can tonight. A little bit, well, a lot on, obviously, what Season 2 is all about. The Woven Echoes and a whole bunch of stuff. And then hopefully we get a little bit into, I haven't decided what I'm going to play, nor have I looked into what I'm going to play. So hopefully we'll watch, I don't know, we'll go on YouTube and see what's out there. There's a couple of people I watch when it comes to builds on Last Epoch. And we'll see what they have to say. Oh, there it is. There's my Warlock. There it is. There's my Warlock. So many options this season. Jesus. Less than 2 days. Yes. Hey, Vampire. I actually just hit maps. Hardcore asset. Wow. Nice. Congratulations, bro. That's a friggin' hell of an accomplishment. GG's. Holy moly. Wow. You finished a campaign on hardcore. That is quite the accomplishment. Congrats. Holy crap. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. GG's. Season 2 patch overviews on your Discord. It's very... Oh my god. Oh God, what is it? Patch overview. Oh my God, Chris, you're gonna make me look. You're gonna make me look. All right, where is it here? Where's the last epochs? 48 hours. Okay. Patch overview. Yeah, I think I got. So we're gonna watch this patch overview. It's 20 minutes. Then I'm not, I don't know if we're gonna watch all 2 hours of Action ARPG and Frosty LaRue's interview. Then here I think this is what you have. The overview is just absolutely crazy. I might have already watched it. Oh, it's a video. Oh, here it is. It might be this one then. Yeah, yeah. This is the 20-minute one. No, we're gonna watch it now. I haven't watched it. I don't think I've watched this one. Anyway, that's the. Wow, 2K. Nice, last epoch. 2K. So, patch overview. These are all the interviews that took place. I'm not going to watch all of them. We'll just watch the last one. And I don't know if I'm going to sit all 2 hours watching that. What else? Yeah, this is what's going on. So, in less than 48 hours, Last Epoch Season 2, Tombs of the Race will be live. Here's a quick recap of what's going to happen. So, April 16th, which is tomorrow, 11 a.m., 24 hours of downtime will commence while we deploy all the changes. Hey, next, just watch the 21-minute from Judd. Well, we're going to watch it. April 17th, 11 a.m. Central Time, servers will go live. That's 12 my time. And I will be live streaming it on Twitch and YouTube. And there are Twitch drops. The supporter packs will unlock and you'll be able to purchase them from the Steam store or your favorite creator store. If they have them enabled, Twitch drops will go live for creators to begin streaming in their communities, earning cosmetics rewards tomorrow, 8 p.m. Oh, interesting. And just so you guys know, here are the Twitch drops. And it is cumulative time watched. So 1 hour of viewing, you get the Holy Lightning Blast skill cosmetic. 2 hours, you get the Crimson Smite skill cosmetic. 3 hours, you get the Holy Shuriken skill cosmetic. 5 hours, you get the Woven Watcher player title. Ooh. And 6 hours of viewing, you get the Cerulean Rip Blood skill cosmetic. Can't see shit. Go back. Shit! That's nice. How do I go back? Can't go back. God damn it. And so yeah, it's the Blue Rip Blood skill cosmetic. And then they also have support a creator. When you subscribe or gift a sub to your favorite streamer, you'll get an exclusive skin cosmetic, the Corrupted Maelstrom, while directly supporting the creation of more content that you love. And unfortunately, Prime subs don't count. No Prime subs. They don't count towards this. Anyway, they got some sweet looking drops. Where were we? I'm all over the map already. Nice. Way to go, Sammy. Where the fudge? Where was? Okay, here we go. While we're very confident in our launch day, once the season launches, Last Epoch's team will be prepped and ready to tackle issues if they arise. Please, RNG gods. Not RNG gods. Please, launch gods. Give them a clean launch. No server issues, please. We'll have a team on standby for hot fixes. You can be assured that we'll be paying attention to the community. We do that. So if there are any issues, you can look up our official channels. And right here. I'm on their Discord, so and they're really good at keeping us up to date. And they did on the last season. They were literally dropping updates literally every 10 minutes. So yeah, that's what's going on. Do we know if the current cosmetic packs are disappearing? Oh, always the tough questions. Oh, that is a good question. Hmm. May 5th? Question mark? Uh, well, let me just check. You guys can't see what I'm looking at right now because it's all in disguise. Excuse me. Discussions. Let me see if I can support our packs. One sec, guys. Actually, you know what? Let me go on. Let me see here. All right. I asked Discord. We'll see what they say. See if anyone answers. Okay. We'll give time. Hey, what's up, Scott? If anyone wants to buy the old stuff, I would go ahead and get it before it's gone. That is a good strategy, but someone that's, maybe on a budget wants to be a little efficient. I don't even know what the assets. Sorry, I'm just seeing. All right, I just put it in general. See if anyone answers. Okay. Well, hopefully someone will answer. Let me put this down here so I can see it. All right. So let's watch the patch overview. And I believe it's Judd. Oof.
Hello, travelers. I'm Judd Kobler, game director for Last Epoch and founder of 11th Hour Games. I'm excited to tell you more about the long-anticipated content
Don't know
coming in
yet,
Season
Scott.
2, called Tombs of the Erased, releasing on April 17th. For Season 2, we took more time and focused on the things that our players were telling us they'd like to see next, like expanding the endgame, more content variety, balance, and more. Season 2 is truly a massive update, and there's plenty to cover, so let's dive in. In Season 2, you are introduced to the Woven, a new in-game faction. Their followers worship the Weaver, a titan who seeks to create a new world free from the void and other imperfections. When exploring the Monolith of Fate, you'll encounter procedurally generated tombs and cemetery side zones, in which the...
Okay. So on May 2nd, 2025, they will be leaving the store. That's officially from them. May 2nd. So you have until May 2nd, Mage and Comba.
The Weaver has been experimenting with souls and memories to make her new world.
So you have some time.
The Woven seek to perfect the Weaver's design by sending the Traveler to the tombs and cemeteries to cull her flawed creations. These tomb and cemetery side zones are the foundation for interacting with our new in-game systems in Season 2. Inside these zones, you'll find the Woven, who have captured souls for the Weaver and wrapped them in cocoons. Breaking these cocoons open will release the souls, which will then flee and possess nearby enemies. Possessed enemies gain new abilities and increased health and damage, and when slain drop Memory Amber, a new currency used in the Weaver faction. You'll want to collect as much Memory Amber as you can throughout the zones. Tombs and cemeteries will end with a unique boss fight that, if completed, will reward you with the ability to access the Woven Enchanter, which can enchant one of your class-specific idols. Enchanting an idol via the Woven Enchanter will add a new affix of a random tier and an amount of Weaver's Touch. Weaver's Touch is converted to randomly upgrade the affix applied and or add an additional affix to the idol that can also be upgraded if there's additional Weaver's Touch to be converted, much like the Weaver's Will mechanic. These may have up to 2 enchanted affixes total. This conversion of Weaver's Touch happens as you gain experience while having the idol equipped. The first enchantment of an idol is free. Re-enchanting the same idol costs Memory Amber each time and re-rolls a new enchantment affix, replacing the previous affixes. To keep non-class idols competitive, we've added new idol subtypes with more powerful modifiers as well. Completing a cemetery, the larger of the 2 types of side zones, will also give access to an altar of the Weaver. Altars are used to place the Weaver's constructed realities into the Echo Web, which take form as and are called Woven Echoes. Woven Echoes are a new special itemized type of echoes. Realities into the Echo Web, which take
The Grand Brewery, Woven Echo. Brawl with beer in the brewery and emerge victorious to claim the Brewmaster's Buckle. Place at Altar of the Weaver and complete Echo to earn 1 Weaver Tree point. All right, there's beer in the game. Yes.
The larger of the 2 types of side zones will also give access.
Delve into a fast tome of the Erased and defeat that Fate Weavers to claim the Echo-specific rewards of all the surrounding echoes. Holy shit. Oh my God, Sammy, you quit D4 for last Epoch. Oh my God, Mars. Sammy, are you going hardcore? I started watching you from your runs during the launch. You guys want me to play hardcore on last Epoch? Oh my God. And that guy, what's his name? That boss is going to kill my runs. LOL, I remember the devs having beer humor. Sometimes a potion drops called beer. I very rarely will start a new season, new league in hardcore. But like in all the games that I play, if I take to the league season, I'm having fun and I want to try out different characters, different modes, then yeah, absolutely we'll do hardcore. But the last thing I want to do is season 2 launch and I'm stuck in the campaign because I'm dying and not getting to experience this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this new woven ecosystem that looks really nice.
An altar of the Weaver.
Yeah, I'm playing the beer keg
Altars
class.
are used to place the Weaver's constructed reality.
Sorry, I just want to see.
Completing Altar of the Weaver. Altars are used to place the Weaver's
The Pillar of Skulls rises high above the Soulfire Bastion. It is here that the Lich Cremoris used soul embers to resurrect champions of ages past and ages yet to come. Stand atop of the pillar and slay all champions that would rise to oppose you. Place at Altar of the Weaver and complete Echo to earn 1 Weaver Tree point. Wow.
Constructed realities into the Echo Web, which take form as and are called Woven Echoes. Woven echoes are a new special itemized type of echoes.
Juice
Glimpses
maps.
into the Weaver's new world that introduce a lot of exciting new content and rewards to last Epoch's endgame. These drop from enemies within tombs and cemeteries and can be purchased from the Woven faction NPC, Mask. Woven echoes will provide new challenges.
A Templar from a forgotten timeline filled with shrines. Place at altar the Weaver and complete echo to earn one.
Challenges and objectives, such as access to brand new bosses like the Draw Queen and Ignixaros the Antipote Dragon, or enhanced versions of existing bosses like Majasa with new abilities, and even an Uber version of the pinnacle boss Aberoth introduced in Season 1. But beware, defeating Uber Aberoth is only accomplishable by the most skilled players and powerful characters in Eterra. There are many powerful rewards tied to Woven Echoes, such as unique forges giving you special ways to craft items not found anywhere else in the game, access to new unique items only found by defeating these bosses, and even ways to accelerate in-game progression for alt characters by bringing a timeline's corruption.
Defeat a shade of Orbis of each type to reset the timeline's web of echoes and gain corruption based on the highest corruption reached in any timeline by any character with access to the same stash as this one. Minimum corruption 100.
Up to match the corruption of another character's timeline. We'll go over some Woven Echoes momentarily. So far, there are 37
So our alts will benefit from our prior grind.
different types of Woven Echoes being introduced with Season 2 and more to come. Once you've found and completed your first cemetery, you'll catch the attention of Mask, the Weaver's High Priest, who will bring you to the Haven of Silk to tell you more about the Woven and then invite you to join them. Joining and gaining rank with the Woven will allow you to unlock more Woven Echoes and give you access and points to spend in the...
You can purchase 3 new Woven Echoes for Mask. Rank 2, you can purchase 3 new. Rank 3, you can purchase 2 new. So basically you can purchase more and more and more, depending on the rank.
The new Weaver's Tree.
What is
The Weaver's Tree allows you to influence the encounters and rewards in the Monolith of Fate, providing more agency over your in-game experience.
What?
Some options include having a chance for Arena Echoes to be replaced with Super Arena Echoes, which contain champion enemies, or having items with Weaver's Will be rolled twice and keeping the higher value of the two, or sometimes letting a shade of Orbis ambush you.
That's right next. It's the Atlas. Shh.
In your echoes for additional drops and challenge. Some key nodes allow items and Woven Echoes to be imprinted into the tree, yielding different effects. Like imprinting a Woven Echo, giving it a chance to spawn in your Echo Web without placing it via the altar of the Weaver in cemeteries.
Wow.
Or imprint an item to make it so that an item of the same type and rarity is granted as an additional reward when completing echoes.
Shut up.
Or imprint an item and there will be a chance for enemies in regular echoes to drop a pile of items similar to the imprinted one. There are many fun and exciting options in the Weaver's Tree.
Oh my god, that has so much farming potential. Wow. Man, they're bringing it.
That allow you to shape your end game experience and loot hunt.
Is it just me, or does the game look like the game is amped up graphically? Loot overload. Yeah. Yeah. And you're only 5 minutes in. The game looks really good graphically. Wow.
We can't wait to hear your feedback.
They did new graphics overhaul.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about a bit more of the
it's
interesting
obvious they did.
itemization and crafting options coming with Season 2, largely enabled via these Woven Echoes. In Season 2, we're
Wow,
introducing
beautiful.
set item crafting, which can be accessed via the Great Bridge Woven Echo. Shattering a set item grants you 1 to 4 set Athix shards you can then use to craft your own reforged set items. Each set item is associated with one specific shard unique to that set item that when crafted onto an item makes it act as that set item. This means that you can craft your own reforged set items that count for the set's bonuses, and you can mix and match these by using the original set items together with the reforged set items.
Now, do they... So, forgive me, because I forgot the maximum number of affixes. And again, it's the number of the maximum number of affixes is by the color, obviously. Is that on top of that, or so? Let's say 6 affixes is the most on a certain item, and you break down those set items. You get the shards. Does that now become 7 affixes, or is the set affix part of the 6? You guys follow?
You can craft these onto different item subtypes. Only one type of set affix shard can be applied to any individual item, and this item cannot be used in legendary crafting via the Eternity Cache. We're also adding the ability to re-roll the legendary potential.
Okay, so it's a bonus. It's a set affix, so it doesn't affect all the other stuff. Smart. Shit.
Potential of uniques via the Far Sight Turtle Woven Echo. The unique must have at least one legendary potential. Rerolling the legendary potential possesses quite a significant risk, as if the legendary potential fails to go up, it will instead go down all the way to 0. This is a worthy risk, as many times to get an upgrade, you need to have more than one legendary potential. And even in the case that it ends up going down to 0, you can then attempt to upgrade it again via the Nemesis Egg, providing multiple new chances to turn an item that might not be an upgrade into an upgrade. In the Orden's Watch Woven Echo, you can replace attributes, strength, dexterity, attunement, or intelligence, with another, as long as the affix isn't sealed. This costs one forging potential from the item. The tier and roll range of the replaced affix will be preserved for the new affix. In the Gauntlet Strife Woven Echo, you'll be challenged by a sequence of boss encounters, and by completing, you'll be rewarded with access to the Sacrificial Altar, which can be used to sacrifice a unique, legendary, Weaver's Will item or set item to re-roll the mod and implicit values of a matching item. The item being sacrificed needs to have equal or greater legendary potential or Weaver's Will. Rune of Research and Glyph of Insight have been removed and replaced by the Thaumaturgy device at the end.
Man, their crafting was already S tier. This is S plus 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 tier. Holy shit.
End of the Rune Prison Complex Woven Echo, where you can replace a prefix with an experimental affix on boots, gloves, or a belt. This makes the process of crafting experimental affixes much simpler.
Whoa. Say that again.
Where you replaced by the Thaumaturgy. Rune of Research and Glyph of Insight have been removed and replaced by the Thaumaturgy device at the end of the Rune Prison Complex Woven Echo.
Use the exiled mages. Oh, okay. So the mages are going to be something different now. Good. Okay. Device to replace a prefix with an experimental affix on the boots, gloves, or a belt.
Where you can replace a prefix with an experimental affix on boots, gloves,
ward, mana, cooldown recovery on potion,
or a belt. This makes the process of crafting experimental affixes much simpler. The exiled mages you encounter will have a chance to drop this Woven Echo. We're also adding some brand new crafting materials, such as Rune.
Huge quality of life. Yeah. Hey, Eric. I heard one of the new endgame bosses, they figure 1% of players will kill him. And 1% of that 1% will kill the Uber version. Wow. That difficult? Shit. Basically like the set item crafting, except with experimental affixes. What I like about this is the mages were really, whatever. They dropped some stuff they didn't drop. I love the fact that now you definitely are not going to go buy a mage. You're going to fight the mage. Oh, you heard it in one of the podcasts. Yeah. Okay.
Of Weaving, which speeds up your Weaver's Will and Weaver's crafting materials, such as Rune of Weaving, which speeds.
Transform a random amount of the remaining Weaver's Will or Weaver's Touch on an item into an additional affixes or affix tiers, as if you had slain many enemies within that item equipped.
speeds up your Weaver's Will and Weaver's Touch item conversions.
Okay.
Using a Rune of Weaving will convert some Weaver's Will or Touch to add additional affixes or affix tiers like you would gain by slaying enemies with the item equipped. Rune of Havoc, which shuffles the tiers of affixes of an exalted item. Sealed affixes are unaffected by this action. For example, you could potentially use the Rune of Havoc to change Tier 1 Strength to Tier 7 on an item that had a different affix at Tier 7 previously.
Wait a minute.
Tier 1 action.
The sealed item changed.
Exalted item. Sealed affixes are unaffected by this action.
Increased stun chance.
For example, you could potentially use the Rune of Havoc to change Tier 1 Strength to Tier 7 on an item that had a different affix at Tier 7 previously. Rune of Redemption, which rerolls exalted affix at
So
Tier 7
why did he bring
previously.
up sealed on that one?
Strength to Tier 7 on a
Hey, Nex, how do you know it's sealed again? What's the... do you guys know... Sorry, I'm forgetting all this. Okay, that's so the mana is a tier 6. So it's a tier 6. When it's purple, it's tier 6 or 7. How do you know it's sealed? Is it on top? Bottom left of the card, it will list them under sealed. Bottom left. Okay. Okay, thank you. There's a reason Zizaran has $10,000 cash prize for whoever can kill Uber Abroth with a hardcore SSF character. There's no seal on this example shown yet. Thank you. I'm
item
like...
that had a different affix at Tier 7 previously. Rune of Redemption, which rerolls exalted affixes to other affixes, preserving tier and roll range. Again, sealed affixes are unaffected. Another crafting update we believe you guys will be excited about is when using the Eternity Cache in Temporal Sanctum Tier 2 or above, you may now select one affix that is guaranteed to be applied to the legendary that you're about to create.
I get why you did it. I got it now, yeah.
Season 2 brings an additional challenge for players with newly introduced champion enemies that spawn in the campaign, monolith, and dungeon.
X-rated.
Champions are powerful versions of enemies with additional and altered abilities that spawn with 3 additional random modifiers, including 1 champion mod. They drop extra loot when killed and even have a small chance to drop much rarer loot, like a pile of unique items. Champions also always drop an item with a sealed champion affix that depends on the champion's mod. For example, a Volcano champion will always drop a belt with a Volcano champion's affix. These mods have unique affixes rarely seen elsewhere and can be very powerful when used with the correct builds. We've made many updates to both the monolith and dungeons. Monoliths have new objectives, like slaying enemies until a cocooned item drops, which is a unique item that has a higher chance to have legendary potential when identified, or the need to seal deadly void rifts that have begun appearing in the echoes. You can now reach empowered monoliths on alts much more quickly, as we've made characters in the same environment share Monolith of Fate timeline unlocks. We've improved arenas by having enemy waves spawn more quickly, and increased enemies' movement speed so that they don't take as long to reach you.
That's good.
And we've updated Echo Spire objectives, so that the spires are guarded by a mini-boss and only attack you once you've engaged the Guardian. This means that they will no longer shoot at you from all the way across the map. For dungeons, we're introducing Dungeon Charms, which can modify a dungeon run. We're introducing 2 charms with this patch, one of which is called a Portal Charm that can be used to immediately portal to the boss of a dungeon and gain a random assortment of mods
Nice.
that
I
you
heard
both
about
gained
this
along the
one.
way.
I heard about this.
We've also added the Black Market Key Trader to Majelka's Upper District in the Divine Era, where you can exchange any 3 dungeon keys for a Portal Charm.
Wow.
In dungeons, you can
Beautiful.
now use a key to respawn either on the floor you've gotten to or at the boss, instead of needing to repeat the entire dungeon.
I'm not going to have to use
Please,
that.
don't test this as a hardcore character. It will not save you. In Season 2, the Sentinel class is receiving a ton of updates, from small adjustments to skills to fully reworking others. Paladin and Void Knight are receiving major overhauls to their mastery passive trees, And Forge Guard is receiving some additions, like a passive allowing them to wield a two-handed weapon and a shield at the same time.
Jesus.
Volatile Reversal has been completely reworked, including a brand new skill tree. By default, it is now a combo traversal skill.
They amped up the
first use of
colors.
the skill
Looks a lot
sends you forward
brighter.
in time to a location to strike enemies in an area, while the second use sends you back in time to your original location, once again striking enemies in that area. You can build for melee or spell damage, and the tree offers some great interaction with other skills like Devouring Orb. We've renamed Sigils of Hope to Symbols of Hope to free up the term for the planned skill sigil system coming later, and have updated its functionality. Symbols of Hope now automatically generate symbols for you, meaning no spending mana or stopping to cast it. Actively using the ability now consumes the symbols to grant ward and temporary damage reduction. Devouring Orb at a baseline now also deals void damage over time in an area around it, and these damaging areas can stack. Its skill tree has been updated with...
Hey, Giz, what's up? Thank you, thank you. Is this where I send my tariffs to Canada? Yes, send the tariffs here, guys. How you doing, Giz? Thank you, buddy. Thank you. It's very generous of you. I don't know what's going on with my alerts. How you doing, Giz? Long time no see, man. Hope all is well, man. And thank you for your generosity. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Ellie's completely different game now, Sammy. Why GG is worried about EHG? They're seriously cooking. Yes, they're seriously. Looks like it, man. Looks like it.
Cool new possibilities, including a node that instantly casts it for you whenever you move. No more numlock needed, and no more getting interrupted every time it casts. Most Sentinel skills received a variety of small to moderate updates to improve their power and offer additional build options. Examples include Multi-Strike that has been given more support to deal single target damage by allowing additional swords to hit the same target.
Can you say what's new, Sammy? So again, I'm learning. Tonight for me is catching up with everything that they've done differently. But just to give you an idea of what they've done is literally like it's 100-page. Everyone keeps telling me this is like 100 pages of patch notes. But at a macro level, so graphically, the game's been enhanced. They've made a ton of upgrades to some of the class systems and the skills, which is already is deep. Their endgame system, the monolith, the echoes, has been granted this new system, which allows us to. There's a new faction that is part of this new woven ecosystem. So that's like the top things that I can think of. You can customize idols. There's a lot, and it's all in here, a ton. But like at a very high level, like the top things that pop to mind, they really juiced up the end game. Is basically they got Uber Boss 2, they got champion bosses. This is what we're watching right now. He's going through it. 110 pages.
Vengeance has been updated to include
135 pages.
All
right.
and Void.
A lot.
Rive can now be converted to Void. Javelin's Divine Fury and Siege Barrage nodes now work together. Hammer Throw has received buffs to non-spiraling nodes. Shield Throw no longer has a cooldown at base and has a node to allow it to bounce from the player. And Time Rot is now a viable, distinctly unique damaging ailment for
a lot of people are going to play this.
We're
Void
also
Knight.
very excited to bring a new skill to Marksman, Heartseeker. Heartseeker shoots a single target arrow that seeks a nearby targeted enemy and has a chance to recurve, meaning it pierces and comes back to hit the target again. When building for Heartseeker, you'll like...
So we have Weaver. Yeah, so it's in addition. So you have... I basically call there's the campaign faction. Actually, that's a bad way of it. So you're now going to have two factions. You don't have to leave either oh my God, I can't believe I forgot. So the merchant faction, and I forget I forget the naming conventions of them. The new uh the new faction, that system that's coming with this season 2 is in addition. So you'll belong to 2 factions. Hey, what's up, Chad? Circle of Fortune. Thank you. Circle of Fortune, and what's MG stand for again? There's 3 factions, but you have to choose between 2, right? There's the trade one and the Circle of Fortune. You have to pick between those 2. So you'll belong to one of those. And then the one for the end game, you'll join. You don't leave the other one. So you'll have 2 factions in the game that you'll be earning stuff with. Merchants Guild. Right. Circle of Fortune and Merchants Guild. You have to choose. And then there's the end game one. I forget what it's called. I don't know where you get 4 factions. There's 3 factions. You'll belong to 2. Stop confusing people, Next. Weavers Guild. Thank you. Thank you, Spox. Right. Right. You don't have to leave Circle of Fortune or Merchants Guild to join the Weavers Guild. Okay? You have one decision to make. Do I pick Circle of Fortune or do I pick Merchants Guild? When you pick that one, then you'll belong to the Weavers Guild. Heartseeker seems pretty fun. Yeah. Yes. There's a lot of
Want to increase
Last
the
Epoch
recurve
does
chance,
not
allowing it to
lack
pierce and hit
build
the same enemy
diversity.
many times. If the target is destroyed and Heartseeker would have recurved, it will instead seek another nearby target. Heartseeker's skill tree gives options to be converted to fire and cold, has lots of support for poison and bleed, can be used as utility to generate mana and different shrouds, and even to provide global buffs granting added throwing and spell damage. You can also remove the base functionality where Heartseeker seeks a new target after slaying the first, and instead turn those leftover recurves into puncture skill procs that fire towards nearby enemies.
Looks good.
Heartseeker requires 30 points in the marksman tree, and Hail of Arrows has been moved to the 35-point skill unlock slot.
My only thing about Heartseeker is survivability. Is it going to be squishy? That's my only problem.
Season 2 is bringing quite a lot of balance changes. Health builds are generally more effective as there is much more access to health modifiers.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, I forgot about the Forgotten Knights. I forgot about the Harbingers. So fuck. Sorry, Next. Next was right. Yes, Next. My apologies. I so forgot about the Harbingers one. Oh my god, yes. Yes.
Fires across the game. Health affixes and health regeneration have been buffed, and health granted per level has been increased. Ward builds are still powerful, but outliers allowing for massive ward generation have been rebalanced. In general, many skills have received buffs, as our goal is to make many more builds viable for in-game content, and previous meta builds that were overperforming have been brought in line.
Okay, guys, just so I don't screw and mess everyone up. Next, it was completely right. There are 4 factions. I forgot about the Harbingers, that the Forgotten Knights, which is part of this season, and it's not going away. I didn't know that. I thought it was going to go away, but it's not. So technically, you're going to be 3 factions. Kevin, how are you prepping for season 2 when it's not out yet? All you're discussing is comments and stuff we already made up our minds if we saw the video. Hey, Kevin. Thank you for being here. You're more than welcome not to watch, bro. This is how I prep. I haven't watched any content. So I'm prepping for season 2 because I'd like to know what is season 2 because I haven't watched it and I haven't picked a build yet. So after these information videos, and we're going to watch some of the interviews that I haven't watched because that's what I define as prepping. And then we're going to look at some build videos, which I would classify prepping. But, again, you don't have to be here. How can Heartseeker make us squishy? Skills make us squishy now? Last Epoch Tools already has the Season 2 skills and mechanics already loaded up next.
Skills such as Black Hole, Elemental Nova, Tornado, Flurry, and Shurikens have had their damage effectiveness increased. We expect there to be a lot of new builds that players are excited to try out.
So you can already make Season 2
Idol
builds.
enchantments
Nice.
and new non-class specific Weaver idols will also raise the power level floor for all builds. Many unique items have received a pass to help make them more useful. For example, Eye of Reen can once again be used with Warpath and other skills which hit with indirect attacks. Boulder's Wrath can proc Earthquake twice as much as before. And Stormbreaker can now gain Storm stacks instead of a small chance to cast Lightning Strike. We've also applied some quality of life updates to multiple skills, like Warcry's Berserk lasting 50% longer. Dreadshade no longer has a duration. You can hold 3 black arrows from Dark Quiver at once. And we've increased the amount of shortcutting you can do with movement skills by increasing the distance you can travel with them over gaps. Loot lizards will spawn a bit less baseline in Season 2, but there will be more scenarios where you'll be excited to find them, and you can also increase their spawn rate via the Weaver tree. In Season 2, we're introducing 25 new unique items. This includes 8 new Weaver's Will uniques and 4 early backer uniques. About half of these are tied to new tombs, cemeteries, and Woven Echo bosses, while the other half expand on the overarching drop pool. And there are plenty of additional improvements coming with Season 2 to be excited about. You can now respec your mastery for gold in the End of Time. The cost of respecializing your mastery is a lot cheaper in the lower to mid levels, so it's easier to experiment, but it increases as your character level goes up. We're introducing a beta version of WASD movement. You can access this via the Settings gameplay menu.
What?
We'll be monitoring player feedback on this implementation,
Oh
and
my
we're excited
God.
to hear your feedback. We have updated the inventory to have tabs to separate out keys and the new Woven Echoes.
That's so
and
good.
we've also introduced automatic storing as an option that will be on by default, so that when you pick up crafting items like shards, they will immediately go to your crafting materials panel. Both of these updates make inventory management much nicer and needing to be dealt with much
Wow.
less frequently. For
Yeah.
Gamepad, we have completely reworked
I agree,
skill targeting,
Chad.
which improves every single skill and skill mutation, making targeting and using abilities more intuitive and responsive. We can also now make updates to individual skills targeting much more easily, so we'll be looking for your feedback and improving these even further. There are a ton of additional updates and fixes in Season 2, and we invite you to read the full patch notes on our forum. Along with all these incredible updates coming in Season 2, we're excited to announce a new batch of supporter packs known as the Woven series. Each of these 4 supporter packs offers new and unique ways to customize your appearance, and the team has cooked up some pretty amazing offerings. Starting with the Woven Traveler pack. We really wanted our entry-level pack to have some pretty awesome stuff. And what better way to travel through Atera than with your own capybara pet? That's right, it wasn't an April Fool's joke after all. You will also score 2 new weapon cosmetics, a backslot cosmetic, and all new color arrangements for your evade skill. That's right, with Season 2, we've implemented skill cosmetics, and you'll find many more in the in-game store. The Woven Templar is the next tier in the Woven series and brings some serious heat. To start,
Wow.
you get all of the cosmetics from the Woven Traveler, and then, to kick off the Templar pack, we start with a full cosmetic armor set known as the Bronze Scale Plate. But the fire doesn't stop there. You're also getting Yoshok's Destroyer, a massive 2-handed hammer cosmetic, a new portal skin, another fiery evade cosmetic, and the first look at the Fire Footprint cosmetic, and an additional 100 Epoch points to use in the in-game cosmetic shop. Up next, and second tier in the Woven series, is the Woven Vanquisher Supporter Pack, and this pack is charged and ready. As with the previous tiers, the Woven Vanquisher Supporter Pack also includes all cosmetic items from the Woven Templar and Woven Traveler packs. Kicking off the Woven Vanquishers pack, players will harness the power of the storm with the Thunderfang cosmetic armor set. You'll also receive the Tempest Gate portal, Storm Drake Wings back attachment, Storm Dragon staff, Storm Walker evade effect, and Lightning footprints. And finally, if you're looking to get everything the Woven series of supporter packs has to offer, then the top tier Woven Legends supporter pack is the one for you. Harnessing the visual prowess of the Weaver herself, don the Shroud of Woven Disciple cosmetic armor set. Be sure to bring along your faithful companion, the Thread Strider pet. You will also receive 4 unique evade cosmetics and the Weaver Footprints visual effect. The Woven Legends supporter pack also includes all of the cosmetic offerings from the Woven Vanquisher, Woven Templar, and Woven Traveler supporter packs. This really is the Get Everything pack. We're also adding many more items you can purchase with Epoch points in the store, including those awesome new skill cosmetic effects.
Wow.
We sincerely appreciate your support and hope you enjoy Last Epoch Season 2. Thank you for your patience, as this one took a bit longer to get out, but we hope that the wait was worth it, and we'll aim to be delivering seasonal patches more quickly going forward. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you in Atera for the launch of Tombs of the Erased on April 17th.
Nice work. Nice. That looks good. Whew. That looks good. Chad, so they do controller support really good, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, nice. Good. I know there's a lot of people that use a controller. So that's good. All right. So I thought, ooh, wow, this Last Epoch Devs Town portal is 2 hours. Oh, wow. 3 days ago. Best controller support of any ARPG in the genre. Wow. All right. Well,
We're the gamers unite, along with Aaron and Frosty. We'll take team flight through and level up, turn the quest in the world of action. We're the best. Welcome to the Town Portal Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Town Portal Podcast. I'm so excited today to have Judd, Mike, Ross, and Carve with us. This is the last tour of the Erased podcast, and again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Today, we're going to be talking about all things Season 2, Tombs of the Erased, and maybe a little.
don't worry, guys. We're not going to watch all of it. I'm sure you guys have all seen
might
it.
have broken a record with releasing 100 pages of patch notes, which is absolutely insane. I think we made it through like 1/3, 4 hours leading into this podcast, which is very, very cool. So we're going to be discussing that today. Frosty, why don't you say hello to everyone, sir, and do some introductions?
All right. This is the most people we've had on at once, so maybe I might lose breath here, but thanks, Aaron. I'm beyond hyped for today's episode because we've got not one, not two, not three, but 4 absolute legends from 11th Hour Games joining us. That's right, the brilliant minds behind what is arguably the best ARPG of all time, Last Epoch. First up, we've got Judd, the founder of 11th Hour Games and game director of Last Epoch. This man is an absolute gigachad. He'll give you a thumbs up if he catches you playing Last Epoch on the job, and honestly, that's the kind of leadership I can fully support. Next, we've got Ross, the creative director. He's the hero secretly pushing for your favorite specs to get massive buffs, all while allegedly rescuing puppies in his spare time.
True.
Then we have Mike, the senior technical game designer, Twitch streamer, and the proud holder of the best beer title 3 years running. Honestly,
wow.
dude, I'm jealous. And last but
Got
not
it, Chad.
least,
Thank
Carve,
you.
the man, the myth, the legend, a game designer who's been leaking so many exciting features from this upcoming patch. We're honestly just pumped to hear what you've got in store for us today. It is an absolute honor having you all here. Please say hi and introduce yourselves in case I missed anything.
Frosty's good.
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Judd Kobler. I'm the game director for Last Epoch and founder of 11th Hour Games. Really excited to chat with everybody today about the upcoming Season 2 release.
Hello, I'm Ross, creator director at EHG. I've been working in the game since I think the 0.7 series of patches, mostly just because I wanted to help out at that time, but then I officially joined later. I think it was 2022, something like that. I've worked on the design and front end of most of the game systems over the years.
Hello, I'm Mike. I'm a technical designer here, and yeah, I've been around most of the time. Not quite since the very start, but pretty close. Yeah, it's just thrilled about this new patch. It's always fun. I'm a big fan of patch day, and it's fast approaching.
Hi, I'm Carv, or I guess some people call me Ilka, but nobody at the work, nobody can pronounce the name. And I'm just a nerd who apparently is worth listening to, I guess.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us today and give us the opportunity to share everything that's coming. We thought we would just rip the Band-Aid off with the first question. This is a question that's asked, or I guess more if it's a statement. There's a lot of buzz around Season 2. It's been 9 months in the waiting for this entire
It's been a long time.
Update, and we know that unfortunately, maybe in the past, EHG has suffered with some server problems. So knowing that there might be 100, 200, 300 people in my chat think you're going to have 500,000 concurrent players. We just kind of wanted to start with how servers are feeling, how confident is.
What do you guys think? Everyone make a prediction. What do you think they're going to hit? Do you think they're going to go north of 500? What do you guys think? $200? Oh shit. No, sorry. Charts. Search. One sec. So their all-time peak was 264. 264 is the record to beat. What do you guys think? Are they going to beat that? You think they'll get it? Right around 300K. You don't think they're going to hit 500? I think they have a shot at beating it. I think they could totally break 200 with this. I think they're going to hit. I think they're going to be between 280 and 350. I think they're beating 260. 300 Hellspawn. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
EHG with the amount of players that likely will be coming, and just see what you guys have done.
Well, what limits them is the fact that they're PC only. Right? They don't have console players.
To plan for servers.
Yeah, our backend team is feeling really good. We've continued to improve our backend infrastructure since the launch of 1.0. You know, now we're doing this with live data and real scenarios, and that's allowed us to fortify these things under actual conditions that we'll see in the wild. We've done things like we've improved our monitoring capabilities, we've reduced our server memory spikes, we reduced the weight of servers just in general, and this, of course, we've also done a lot of stress testing and other things like scaling speed, ancillary service fail state mitigations, etc.
Yeah, Chanksta, I agree. I don't think 500K is in the cards. Who knows? Definitely what's happening with Path of Exile 2 is absolutely helping them. Now, whether or not they are going to move to LE, that's another thing, because there's varying views on PoE 2 players that will never play this game. They just they don't find it appealing at all. So I'm very curious, because to me, if it goes north of 300, 320, then they definitely benefited, in my opinion, from what's going on right now. Yeah, so this is what I mean next. There's a lot of PoE 2 content creators that have left and are playing this. So, and communities sometimes will go with their content creator, whoever they watch that they like.
And so, and if anything does go awry with the servers at the launch of Season 2, we're all going to be at our battle stations ready to fix things very quickly. But yeah, feeling good in that regard.
Okay, so no one's taken off to play last Epoch the day
There's
of
no
last
vacations
Epoch.
right now on the 17th.
We'll
That's a little dig right there for those of you that know everything that's going on in ARPG. That's a little dig about vacations.
We'll all be playing and sitting there and monitoring things very closely. So yeah, we'll be joining you guys on launch.
All right, great. So I've been seeing a lot of your promotional materials, the videos. Is it me, or is it looking a lot better graphically?
Yes.
In this new season, have you guys done any changes? What have you done, and is this something you're going to be continuing to do going forward?
Yeah. There's extensive updates in this regard. We do suspect that these will be noticeable. We've got this massive internal campaign going through and auditing all of the player animations and combat sounds and updating those. We're still replacing all of our enemy and VFX that aren't up to our new, much higher level of quality. And you'll be seeing a lot more of this in upcoming season releases as well. But yeah, with the release of Season 2, Last Epoch is looking and sounding better than it ever has, for sure. Ross, you've been working very closely in those pipelines. If there's anything specific you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Judd, every season comes with visual upgrades as we update older content.
Nice.
Most of these improvements aren't generally attached to a specific season as a goal. We just continually work to improve visuals. There are some exceptions where we might target a specific large visual improvement project to a release, like when we updated the player shadows and lighting at 1.0, or when we added environmental variants to echoes. Updating the engine helps with our options here as well. In terms of VFX updates, we target both player VFX and enemy VFX for improvement, and depending on how old a particular effect is, reworking it can result in abilities looking better and performing better, and being clearer in terms of visual weight and clarity. I think visual clarity is always important, but especially so as you continue to add more complex mechanics to the game. On the sound effects side, it's a similar sort of thing there. We either update older sounds because the sound team have targeted that for improvement, or because there is a visual rework of something that facilitates the need to update the sound there. On the environmental side of things, in terms of level design and textures, we are in the process of a big push there in terms of both the fidelity and clarity when it comes to things like ground textures and contrast, which has a big impact on overall readability when it comes to combat. So yeah, as Judd said, you'll continue to see improvements across the board here with each season.
Now, recently, EHG has done an engine upgrade, and you've basically gone to a newer version of Unity. Has that unlocked more potential for what you can do as designers?
That better, Spox?
There's certainly been...
Yeah. Go, John.
Yeah, there's certainly been aspects of the engine upgrades that gives us more insight into what the code is doing to a deeper degree and what we are able to push going forward. There's upgrading the engine gives a lot of internal ability to improve things. Sometimes it does come with performance upgrades as well. Those are things that we're always excited about. And upgrading the engine is important and something that we do from time to time.
Okay. Cool. 13 pages of bug fixes. How important were getting these bugs taken care of before Season 2?
Yeah, really important, right? We want people to know that we're going to be pushing higher and higher quality content as the studio and game mature. Lots of bug fixes coming in season 2. And although there will likely always be some bugs floating around, we've got more dedicated resources for bug fixing than we ever
Mike
have
is
by a
looking good,
large
Brian.
margin. On that note, if you guys end up finding any
Looks
bugs
good on
in
him.
game, please do use that in-game bug reporting system. It's super helpful to us. It gives us your logs and character information, which helps us find and fix bugs, literally 1,000 times faster. So if you guys see something, say something for sure, and it's always much appreciated.
Nice, nice.
Cool.
So, I mean, I didn't get a chance to read all the notes, believe it or not. I think there's like 100 pages. Along with the 13 pages of bug fixes, I saw like massive amount of buffs for underused abilities. Now, I know this is just like a blanket question everyone can answer. Are you guys looking forward to any particular ability specifically that has been buffed to play with in this upcoming season? And everyone can answer one what their favorite one is.
It's not buffed it's buffed slightly from a damage perspective, but we updated lightning blast to actually a chain, and that really helps. So like rather than hitting all enemies at the same time, it sequentially changes, which makes it a lot more satisfying. I think there's a few fixes we've added for this as well, so I'll be trying lightning blast.
For me, I'm really excited to be trying out Symbols of Hope now that the functionality has changed. I think that's going to be a major improvement to the Sentinel's skill set. So really, really excited about Symbols.
There's some like little buffs to Smelter's Wrath, and there's potential in them ability hills. So I'm looking forward to eventually what that's going to become.
For me, it's probably I'm most excited for turning Judgment's Consecrated Ground to Aura. Now that I don't need to dump my entire mana pool anymore, because that node got changed to not dump your mana pool anymore, and since Volatile Reversal doesn't immediately give your mana back all now, so you can actually use some other skills and don't need to worry about the Volatile Reversal stuff.
Carve, I know what you're doing. You're trying to bring a true RF to Last Epoch. Don't try and fool anybody. We know what you're doing. Come on.
We have a couple of skills that are basically like Righteous Fire. That being one of them, and one of the uniques coming for Acolyte, I think gives you somewhat similar playstyle.
Oh boy. Frosty, I can tell you that I'm probably going to be the only content creator in the world that's going to be playing Summon Bear for my season start. We are going to make a Primalist Beastmaster Summon Bear build.
I mean, I'm probably going along with majority of people that I've talked to and just going Heartseeker because I love bows, and I'm so happy with that. I am so unbelievably happy with that. That's hands down what I'm going.
Very nice. All right, guys, I don't know who wants to tackle this question. I feel like once season 2 comes,
X-rated Frosty and Aaron are town portal. This is their podcast. That's why Frosty's there. Aaron and Frosty do Town Portal. It's their podcast together. By the way, guys, no word of a lie. I hadn't seen this, but I did watch a little bit of build videos, and that the Acolyte RF build is something I'm considering. And we'll look at the video that I watched very briefly.
out, there's going to be a lot of questions around this. WASD movement in beta form. What's the future of WASD in Last Epoch? Potential strafing, using right thumbstick to shoot as you move backwards. What's the kind of future vision of WASD?
Yes.
Yeah, I can answer this one here. There's a lot on the table and a lot up in the air still. What it's going to look like at the very end of the line of like when do we take that beta tag off of the feature type thing? It's such a feel dependent thing. So we need to make sure that the changes that we're making are things that feel good and things that feel good in Last Epoch specifically. So there's so many abilities that interact differently with this type of like input movement. and actually adding in active strafing to abilities is a huge power spike to a lot of situations. And so like it's on the table, but it is not guaranteed. So we are going to be testing things out and seeing what feels best. There's also like a lot of animation requirements for doing that, and we do have some new tools from animations coming down the pipe that are really big upgrades for the visual fidelity and also just how they feel in game when you're using them. It's going to help us make this feel a lot better going forward once we do get that beta tag off. I don't know if Ross has anything about that.
Yeah, there's a level design aspect to this too as well, where you need to, we need to adjust areas to feel good with WASD as well. We're doing that for all of the new areas that we're creating, so tombs and cemeteries, and in future seasons. But we will need to revisit some specific areas in the campaign and in Monolith as well to ensure that the level is laid out to work well with WASD.
Nice,
cool.
I just gotta get this.
Yeah, absolutely, Chad. I can't imagine playing, for example, the range. Like, it fits like a glove for the Ranger class in Path of Exile 2 WASD. It's a game changer for that class, WASD. Like, it fits like a glove. Can't imagine playing without it. So you're absolutely right.
This out of the way first. This is a massive patch, massive season. There's so much being added. Is everything that's being added now going to be permanent and also available for legacy servers?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, everything that we're adding right now is permanent content. We think it's very important to make sure that the game is stacked with fun content. And when we released 1.0, we didn't quite have enough to start to introduce temporary mechanics. Introducing temporary mechanics or systems with seasonal releases is
Brian,
likely something we'll do
right.
because there is large benefit to doing that. You can release something, have it tested, see what sentiment is like, and you don't have any commitment to keeping it in the game, or if people don't like it, you could of course pull it. So it is likely something that we end up doing long term, but right now all of the content coming into the game is intended to be permanent. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I think there's one exception. This isn't anything to do with actual content. It's just that the chat announcements, the seasonal chat announcements, do not happen in Legacy. So there's one different thing.
And what are those announcements going to be, Carve?
Probably gonna see me die in hardcore.
Oh, jeez. Loot Lizards got hit with a pretty big nerf, 40% reduction. What would people expect the loot increase to be? So right now you probably see a couple Loot Lizards almost every echo. Are we going to be super excited to see them from the loot that they drop?
I mean, they've got a ton of really great loot already. We're not actually buffing the loot on them a ton. There's a lot of new methods for you to get access to Loot Lizards. So you can spawn them in your echo webs through the Weaver tree. You can also there's the scale charm as well. So there's lots of new ways, and there's definitely not a bunch of pings happening right now. It's distracting me or anything.
Yeah, you're telling me.
There's a lot of new ways to get access to the Loot Lizards when you really want them a lot. So you're still gonna be able to spawn a whole bunch of them, but they'll just spawn less consistently and just randomly, and you'll stumble across them a little bit less.
Yeah,
Nice.
One big point of feedback was that the Loot Lizards were like extremely saturated in campaign. So the reduction in amount of Loot Lizards you find is mostly notable on campaign because with the Weaver tree, and then there might be a Woven Echo that contains Loot Lizards, you can in endgame get a decent amount of Loot Lizards still.
Well, speaking of loot in campaign, I know these champion monsters, these like mini boss type monsters that have been added to the game, will be in campaign. They have a potential of dropping, I think it was a pile of uniques. Is this something that could possibly happen in the very early stages of your new character in a campaign?
Yes.
I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure actually. Can we ask Holly that, and we can get
Holly's
back to
checking.
you on the answer to that?
yeah,
I suspect the
good start
answer
for
is
this.
yes, but I'm not.
They are
I mean,
difficult, and if you don't have any if you don't have any like gear from previous characters, and you're like a fresh start character, and you see one right at the start or as early as they can be seen, they are quite difficult.
While
Yeah,
we're
I'll
waiting
check
for
you
that
post right now.
answer, when you guys see loot lizards or hear them, does anybody else hear dolphins? Somebody at
Yeah.
EHG must hear a dolphin. I can't be the only person.
You might be the only person.
No way. That's
Mike
what
says yes.
I hear where you're coming from there.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's like a dolphin and a murloc had a baby.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. I would accept that.
They can drop a pile of uniques very
Okay.
early.
Okay.
Like a pile of exalted items as well. Some of the loot drop types are in-game only, but uniques
Alright.
can
pile
be at
of
any level.
exalteds. The
I
pile
mean,
of
that's
exalteds is
great
late
news
game
for
only.
speedrunners.
Yeah, you're not getting piles of exalted items on campaign.
Yeah, but
Right.
uniques can be at any level.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's been a lot of shift on loot drops more towards magic and rare enemies as well as making those enemies tougher. What prompted that change, and are other loot pools going to change maybe in the future, or is that kind of where you want to take loot?
Well, we don't have anything to really share about future loot pool changes right now. As for the question about the magic and rare enemies, it just improves the feel and flow of the game a lot. You know, you fight these not normal enemies, and then they'll drop some, a bit better loot compared to everything else, and you don't have to be clicking these shards and runes and whatnot that normal enemies currently drop
up,
quite often.
Richard?
So it just means that you loot a lot less often, so it just feels better.
What a concept.
It just feels better. That's what we found out when we tested it.
Nice. So these new woven echoes seem really cool. Is there a way of getting them, I don't know, through the auction house or the merchants guild, or increasing drop rate through Circle of Fortune, or does everyone have kind of like an even playing field?
Yeah,
They aren't tradable.
they're not tradable. You can't get them in the bazaar.
Circle of Fortune players will get a bit more of them through their perks, but other than that, they are pretty equal.
Okay.
Some major changes were made to enemy dot, so damage over time. A 50% reduction in corruption scaling, as well as 15% less damage to players. Was dot overtuned, or was it just requiring too much of a gear commitment?
I mean, both. We don't have. It's a lot easier to mitigate hits. There's a lot more systems that specifically mitigate hits. So there's a couple different ways to go about it. We could provide a lot more ways to mitigate dot, or we could just make dots be less dangerous, so you don't have to go out of your way on already very limited pool of affixes to start tanking all of the dots. So we just felt it was better to not put more pressure on that, and instead just overall reduce the damage dots do. Obviously, you still probably want to have a source of cleansing for all the ailments in the end game.
I feel like this is going to be something that players really feel and notice when they play endgame for Last Epoch. Most of the time when you die, it's like a poison or bleed nemesis, or it's Gaspar or some dot that like smokes through all your defenses. So I think this is going to be a great change.
Yeah, I think we were about halfway through the development process for the season, and I had a distinct memory of watching some streamers specifically struggling here. I think it was Karn as well. It was quite passionate about telling us with this, but yeah, I think the changes here are really, really positive.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's also other things we can do, and we have actually done in a lot of enemies recently, where when a dot spawns, it doesn't do its like maximum damage immediately, and it just ramps up. So if you're standing on it at the beginning when it spawns, it doesn't necessarily do all of its damage, and then if you just AFK there, obviously going to die. Or if you walk onto it later, it's going to be way more dangerous to help, so that when they spawn, you don't immediately have to
Oh, okay.
be ready to
That's good.
dive out potentially, and it gives you a bit more leeway there.
So we're getting
uh,
some pretty cool news in from the team right now, and I promise this isn't scripted or planned. The team is pinging us right now saying that our stretch build has passed QA, and so we will actually be adding another list of patch notes that were not included initially, and we can show some cool
What?
things that we are excited to get in that we weren't sure was going to
What?
come on day one, but we have some. It looks like Photon pushed in some new visuals for the Monolith Hub, which is really cool. This is pretty neat. We're all very excited about this, and then we'll ask them to post the additional patch notes in the Discord for us, so we can go over those too. And then we'll have to actually add them to the patch notes themselves.
Yeah, they will be. Added
Hold on.
patch
How
notes,
many
so.
more pages of patch? So we're at 100 patch notes.
Oh, it's not one page.
Not yeah.
Maybe
It's like one
Okay.
additional page.
Okay.
But they're good. They're good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that. That's awesome. That is very cool.
Basically, just rolling the first hotfix into the launch build.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. Frosty, what do you got?
Nice. Oh, okay. Well, I might not have a lot of time coming up to play a lot, so thank you for the mastery respecking, because I would like to be able to maybe switch my mastery without leveling up a whole new character to like 90. I think I saw on the video like a high level character is like 500,000 gold or something. It's definitely attainable. What made you decide to allow mastery respecking?
And just before someone answers that question, if you are out there and don't know, Frosty LaRue's wife is due tomorrow with their first baby. So they're having a baby girl. So he wasn't even sure if he was going to make it for today's podcast, but just huge congratulations. Excited for you.
Thank you.
Excited for
Thank you,
so.
guys.
And EHG, everyone in chat is saying that he should name his daughter Ellie. Get it? Ellie. It's not very funny.
I like
All right,
it.
there
I
you
think
go.
I'm thinking Aberos.
Sponsored for sure.
Abby could be another. Abby could be
Abby
another.
could be another good one.
Abby's a good one,
That's
too.
Abby,
true.
yeah, there you go.
That's true.
Yeah, well, so with respect to like the mastery respec, it's one of those things that people it was a pain point for some people who are like starting out, and they all they do is just look at the maybe the broad theming of a class, and they're like, oh, that's something I played in another game, and you dive right in, you get to end game, and it's not like maybe we've taken the class in a different direction than you're expecting or something like that, and you're like, oh, I wish I'd actually
Yeah, it's
taken
not
a
what I wanted it to
Beastmaster
be.
instead of a Druid or something like that, and just that little shift. And then on your very first character, you look back and it took you so many hours to do the campaign, so you've never done it before, and there's like that big pain point moment, and we just didn't want people to bounce out of the game right then. And so this was a really good opportunity to give people a way to keep playing and keep experiencing and keep evolving their character. And like we wanted the cost to be something that was significant enough that it's not just a hey, I'm gonna go switch my mastery today because I feel like it, but not so debilitating that you're like, okay, I'm gonna farm for this week so I can afford my mastery respec next week. And like it's a new thing, and we're gonna be paying attention to feedback and making adjustments as we need to here going forward. But yeah, it's something that we're using more as like a relief valve for fixing a mistake rather than like a tool to be leveraged. And I think the really big similarity here is the being able to switch between COF and MG, and like that's not something I see a lot of people being like, I'm gonna leverage these two together to switch back and forth. And that's sort of the relationship we want, is where it's fixing a pain point for players, not really a tool to be followed in build guides so much. And like I'm sure it'll pop up from time to time in these places, but expecting more one-way switches than repeat switches.
I'm happy that you guys put it in the game, but I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised. This was one of those questions, Mike, that you've gotten for 5 years, where it's always been like, we want something to feel permanent. So it was a nice surprise, but I was surprised.
Yep. Yeah, we have to stay flexible, and we have to be ready to change and adapt. And I think this is a good example of that. We're gonna keep making the best decisions for the game in its current state.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I think as long as you can't swap a mage into a sentinel, we're probably good here. So
Can't swap the
A lot of
class,
plastic surgery.
yeah.
right? Something that's been coming up more and more when everybody's watching these trailers, looking at the patch notes, is power creep. So with the introduction of being able to enchant your idols, with the ability to guarantee your 1LP slams with the ability to switch out your attributes and all these new items and gear, champion affixes. What are the thoughts around power creep and trying to keep that under control?
Yeah, it's an important topic. So we incrementally buff monsters almost every patch because we don't want the player power to start to drastically outpace monster power when we elevate the player power floor with additions like you're calling out right now. That prevents us from having to do things like introduce a patch where we buff monsters very significantly, which can feel very jarring to players. So just as we continue to elevate the floor of player power, we will incrementally buff monsters with these outgoing patches.
Okay,
Makes
Nice.
sense.
So, I mean, speaking of player power, with the massive amount of changes pretty much every ability has in the game, there's going to be some builds that just explode with damage, and you might not even foresee this. Is there any plans on maybe reining those in if you see certain builds just being ridiculously overpowered, and maybe
busted
the same
busted
Yeah.
builds. Yeah.
How are you going to handle that? Is that something where it's like time to nerf it to the ground, or maybe nerf it a little bit? What's your theory on that?
We just don't do mid-season balance changes. It's just extremely disheartening and disruptive to pull the mat from underneath your, you're playing a good build and there's no box or anything involved, and then suddenly your build is gone. It's just a horrible feeling. And when we polled the community on this topic, it was pretty obvious that
They polled everyone last year about
bugs
this.
are causing it. Just keep it intact, and it's aligned pretty well with our internal thoughts on the matter. And
Now
obviously,
we do address any bugs that present outlier cases like this, and so it might be that something has broken, and then you're scaling way higher than intended because of that. We do fix issues in that regard. Another thing that will allow this to feel better is that we need to start releasing seasons more rapidly than the release between 1.1 and 1.2. So if there is something that's very overpowered, and we would want to have the opportunity to balance that sooner than having a patch release, in the same time span as 1.1 to 1.2.
Okay.
yeah, the TLDR, no balance changes but bug fixes.
Yes.
Got it. If
Yeah,
it's
change
bugged,
that.
you'll patch it. If it's just
As long
broken
as it's
from
not a
over
bug,
tuning,
you can
it stays
go and
until the next
Do
season.
your 8 million.
Okay. Judd, I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my next question. You said something where everybody was like, oh, yeah, we'll believe it when we see it. So I just thought we could bring it up now. On the first tour of the Erase podcast, you said something with Rax and Zizarin that
You're
the
good, Dan.
goal for time in between seasons is actually 3 months, and then if it goes to or if it goes to 3.5, so be it. If it goes to 4 months, so be it. But really the goal in between patches is 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, we think the most healthy cadence for releasing content for Last Epoch in the future will be at a 3-month cadence. It is something that, again, we are getting our legs when it comes to games as a service and the live operations model.
happened
We
to
are
his
doing
mic?
way better than we ever have about making content in parallel. So there are many things that we have in development for future season releases already. So we're making really good progress to what we need to do to make that happen. So the ultimate goal will be 3-month seasonal releases. I think it's more
There you go.
appropriate to say 4 months is something that we feel like is reasonable for 11th hour games at the moment, but certainly not this large gap that we've had between 1.1 and 1.2. The gap between 1.1 and 1.2 was really based on player feedback and people telling us that they really wanted to see additional in-game, these quality of life improvements. And so we had an internal debate about what we were going to do, because we even had a roadmap posted with content that we were coming out with for 1.2. And with all the feedback that we were ingesting, we were like, it's going to make us feel like we are just blind to the feedback that we're receiving if we create the content that was positioned to come in the previous version of 1.2. So we decided it was time for us to, go heads down, listen to the players, focus on the stuff that you guys want, and that is the result of what we have coming in Season 2. It did take a little bit longer to come out, but we do think that people are really going to enjoy the efforts and the content going into this patch.
Awesome. I'm excited for Season 2, and obviously I'm excited for Season 3 because Mike has talked about some Necro stuff. So, I just... anyways, what do you got, Frosty?
So I was looking at the video you released earlier, and they talked about the Gauntlet of Strife Woven Echo, which is basically you're fighting a gauntlet of bosses. Roughly how many bosses are we fighting in a row here? Is it like 2 or is it like 10? What is it?
I think it's 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Holly.
No, I think
Holly
it's more.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
it's
it's
more.
a lot more.
It's more. It's
Um,
more than
yeah.
2, and there's champions in there too.
No, I think
It's 7.
it's
Okay.
7. Yeah. Yeah.
That feels like a gauntlet.
And
Yes.
it's not just bosses. But the bosses have their little champions with them.
Okay.
They have their minions as well.
They have their little champ.
Well, I'm looking
There's
forward
like
to
a
that.
champion that's like paired with each boss.
Oh, nice, nice.
Okay. So we got mastery respec. That was something that EHG was flexible on. In the past, it's like, no, not out right now. We don't want to do it. They brought that in.
We were subbing there for a while. Yep.
Something else that has been added to the game is we've always been able to jump through the dungeons to kind of jump through the campaign on alt characters. But something that was always kind of a pain point is you didn't get your idols and you didn't get your passive points, which means you still had to just run this quests anyways. So most people didn't use that feature. Now with season 2, you could be able to jump through the dungeons and you can get some of your passive points and some of your idols. I thought somebody from EHG could talk through the thought process on this and why the decision was made.
Yeah, so the dungeon keys were added as a campaign skip for alt characters. This is something we don't want the keys to drop earlier than where they're dropping right now for your first campaign playthrough, because for new players, this could result in a lot of confusion. They could go and complete the dungeon and then they're spit out the other side at a much higher zone level. And for a new player that doesn't understand that, that can be frustrating, or they just don't think that they've done the right thing. And so we intend this to be a campaign skip for alt characters. One thing that we have discussed internally that we may do is we might actually have dungeon keys hidden in places where our veteran players can know to go and pick them up. So they can actually go, if they feel like they have the skill level, to go and just outskill the over-leveled content for them.
Hold on a second. Are you
go
talking
and add
about the
that.
current hidden zones that are already in the game? You're going to hide keys in there? Is that the idea?
That's an idea. That's certainly something that we could do. Is hide them in areas like that, or it could just be a barrel really far off the beaten path that probably people aren't going to go to. Yeah, it's one of those things in discussion though. We understand that there are a lot of people that would like to progress through the campaign more quickly. We've added that via dungeon skips, but we don't want to mess up the new player experience for the people who are actually new to the game and going through the campaign or going through the dungeons and being spit out at a higher level zone could be a really bad experience for
I'm trying
brand
to
new
figure
players.
out when to skip
And
next.
in terms of
I haven't found
hiding the keys,
moment.
it's more like the cave in the starting zone with the veteran boots are.
Yeah,
like
yes,
that
nice.
sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
probably going to be like one-shot cash, so you don't like repeatedly farm the key there. Character has a chance, one chance with the key.
Dungeons before, some of them are pretty tough to get through on your very first shot blind. So if you do find a key and you mistake and you're no idea what to expect, point was, and go backtrack.
Spawn system actually.
Yes.
So with the launch of season 2, you can use an additional key to respawn at the floor that you're on at the dungeon or at the boss. Which I think people are really going to enjoy. We also this isn't coming with season 2, but we have a large amount of effort underway for tutorializing some things better, like crafting for new players, or like going into the temporal sanctum and using those abilities and knowing when to do that. We have some updates coming there that just like for new players, it'll make the experience just easier to understand overall. Yeah.
Just
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm a more casual player for sure, and I'm also a bow player, so I die often. And being able to just get to the end of a dungeon, if I die, and being able to come back and not have to redo the whole thing, I'm a huge fan of that.
Yes.
Also, look, I might have a little trouble reading every single thing when it comes to the crafting, so having some kind of tutorial maybe would help out my learning style a bit more for sure. So I'm also a big fan of that.
Frosty, it's not just you. We cannot get people to read and even internally, we don't do it either. So like we really have to point at things with arrows. If we want you to see it, we got to make it flash really brightly.
That's right.
Or we got to put a big arrow next to it.
Yes.
And we understand that, and it's something that it's easier to go and write a wall of text for tutorial. But now that we actually have some additional time and development power, we can go through and make those tutorials just significantly better than we had in the past. So a lot of work going on in that area right now.
Hey, what's up, Rez?
Yeah, we're looking at contextual toast notifications for game guide as well. You know, when something specific happens, a small pop-up notification linking you to the game guide, because game guide's a good resource, and we don't do the best job at signposting that or pointing you to it beyond small buttons and things like that.
By the way, I'm glad I was just about to hit space. Their in-game guide, he's right. It's very hard. It's not hard to find, but unless you look for it, you won't find it. But it is a good resource.
Everyone in chat
Very
saying
nice.
we don't read. So yeah, we need those
Yep.
types of indicators.
We don't either, guys.
I guess a random, side note question here. So, Circle of Fortune and Merchants Guild, are
Oh,
you
good,
guys
buddy.
still
How you
doing
doing,
balance
Rez?
adjustments? And have you noticed maybe players veering more towards one or the other at the moment?
In terms of balance adjustments, the focus on this season, you know, we had to spend time adding the new endgame faction. There are some small adjustments we've made there, but we are aware of the need to improve some UX and UX in the bazaar, and certainly some quality of life elsewhere. So it hasn't been a goal this patch to update and balance factions, but there are some small changes we've made that should hopefully help.
Yeah. And as far as like the split that we
Awesome.
see going
Nice,
COF
Rez.
versus Merchants Guild, typically at the start of the seasons, we see people going COF in large quantities. And then as the season progresses, we do see an amount of players swapping over to Merchants Guild. But the split there does seem to reliably be healthy. People seem to be choosing the item faction that allows them to get items in the way that they would like to achieve items. So I think that system is actually working very well right now. Certainly always room for improvements there and slight balance adjustments. But yeah, overall, we're very happy with it.
I love COF.
Okay.
Nice.
Gambler's fallacy is back. What prompted the reversion to reverse it and to bring it back? Also, for the people who don't know, what is it?
Yeah.
It's an amulet that makes you always crit if you haven't crit recently, I think. It's a very powerful leveling unique for certain skills that had like high mana costs and whatnot, and you just like Glacier, for example, you just use it every now and then and just destroy the screen with that. And the reason why it was removed was because there was a bug that allowed you to just get multiple copies of it without ever completing the quest. So you could just get a lot of gold. And it wasn't a very big priority to get it back immediately, because there's the Soulfire Bastion dungeon that had a better version of that you can farm for LP. But we found some time to sneak that back in. So yeah.
Nice.
So, with the massive gamepad targeting improvements, is this a good indicator that maybe one day soon we'll be seeing Last Epoch for console?
Ooh.
We would love to get to console, and we are doing everything that would allow gamepad to be of the quality that would mean that people would like to see it on console. We don't have anything there to announce at the moment, but we certainly do want to make sure that when you are playing on the PC, no matter what your preferred input method is, the game is a phenomenal experience. And so this now includes WASD, but keyboard and mouse, gamepad targeting, a lot of really good adjustments going in here, and future efforts for gamepad. I mean, a lot of stuff underway here. We have the targeting feeling pretty darn good right now. The UI has been improved significantly already for gamepad, but we have a lot of work going for UI, mainly navigation, happening for gamepad in the future, because we do want gamepad. We want the gamepad experience to feel native. If you swap over to a gamepad, it should feel like it was built natively for the gamepad. So a lot of good adjustments there coming up. It's some of our very favorite stuff to work on. Both Ross and I have a UI background, so it's our time to just kind of hang out, geek out, work on some UI stuff. But yeah, a lot of good gamepad improvements coming. Console, nothing to announce, but certainly, working our way in that vein.
But you guys want to in the future have Last Epoch on console. That's a future goal.
Yeah,
for
we would
the
love
studio.
to. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I get this question all the time. Why is it the Weaver tree and not the Weaver web? I know. And what is a super beacon?
The name originally was Weaver's Web. There's a lot of debate internally about this, because I thought we thought people would default to calling it the Weaver tree anyway, and we call other trees skill trees and things like that. It's not it's not a type of naming that is it's
Common.
consistent with the rest of the trees in the game. But yes, it was a divisive decision, let's put it that way.
Got it.
In terms of super beacons, those are just bigger beacons like you have in the Monolith. They reveal a large area on the Echo Web, and that just allows you to plan things out a bit more. Like if you've got imprinted woven echoes, that's a good way to search for those passively spawning.
Okay.
So I think I see there's something called a shade ambush being added to the game. What is this? Is it scary? Do they drop anything? Just try to explain this to me a bit more.
Oh my god.
However you want to talk about it.
These questions are unbelievable.
I mean, it's like a normal shade fight. It just pops in your echo and drops you loot if you can kill it.
It's the same ambushes we already have in other like ambush echoes already. So you'll like the mechanics for the ambush part of it happen the same as normal, and then it's the Shade of Orbis fight just like you'd fight it normally. So it is like it's two things that we kind of already have, and just.
However, it is not
echoes. It's a good.
However, it is not the actual. Like it doesn't add all of that happens randomly.
Green, but
okay, go ahead. Shoot.
All right.
Freshman.
So Uber Avaroth being brought to the game. So this Avaroth is like how much more powerful than the one we've already fought?
It's a good question.
Yes.
Oh, and also, does it have new abilities?
Another good question.
Yes. Kind of. Yes. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. It's gonna have fun. Yes. I'm ready to see the rip clips. I'm so ready. And I'm also ready to die to myself as well. Yeah.
Carve,
It does
what
have a minimum
percentage of
corruption.
players do you think could beat it?
Not very high.
Yeah, not very many.
One?
Not very many.
Yeah, like if 1,000 people beat regular Aberoth, how many of those 1,000 would be able to beat Uber Aberoth?
How much time do they
Probably
have?
I would probably go with a single digit. That's my
Wow.
guess, but it's a lot harder.
Aspirational content.
It is a very hard fight. Yes, we do not expect most people to be able to do it.
Did
Like,
Carve
you can-
just
you
say
can keep
maybe
grinding.
9 people? 9? Single digit? Damn.
Of,
Shit.
yeah, of the 1,000.
Of the 1,000.
Yes, not total. Yeah.
Okay, that's like 1% of players that can kill Aberoth now will be able to kill Uber Aberoth.
That is what I am thinking. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream. Don't worry, I'm not terrified to go to the next scene. I'm sure it'll work fine. Please work fine. Please
Holy
work
shit,
fine.
Changsta.
Moving on to our second scene for the
For the next 100 days, I'm jumping
Insta-death.
into the creepy cute chaos of Once Human, The Way of Winter. Okay. Will I be able to survive the freezing cold and burning hot temperature?
Town Portal podcast.
Aaron, are you still there? Can you guys hear
I
Aaron?
can hear Aaron. Oh no, where'd he go?
It is echoing. It is
We
echoing.
can hear you. And you're good.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, we're getting some live demo. What's going on here? What happened? You're gonna be too busy. Oh my God, Chris, you gotta
No,
give
you. Oh, wait.
Wait,
really?
hello.
Yeah. audio
hello?
issues again.
Hello.
We can hear him just fine in the call.
Looks like EHG team can hear Aaron, but no one else can.
Hello.
That's our
Fixed.
team saying it.
it's
All right,
fixed.
we're good.
Okay.
Oh, my.
We're in.
We're good.
I thought people were
Oh my
messing
gosh,
with you.
I thought you guys were playing a prank on me. I'm like, oh, very
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
I mean, we were
Yeah, we
initially. It's a joke at the start. you know.
I know.
Joke became real.
EHG, if you guys didn't hear, was gracious enough to give me 27 clips to show off on this extra screen. And we're going to go through these right now. If anybody wants to pause and comment, go ahead. So we're going to look at some skill. We're going to start off with some MTXs. Chthonic Fisher.
And
I'm
with these,
getting
you guys
that
will
one.
notice some of our environment and lighting improvements as well. These folks have some good bits into them.
Oh my God, I'm getting that one.
I love these so much. Just the
Just
variations that come in.
Chthonic Fisher's
so
already so cool looking that it's like,
Yeah.
it's like double. Moving on. Okay. I feel like people are going to be like, no way. Are you guys ready for this? I think this is my favorite one.
Yeah, this one's sweet.
Wow, hammered in. You Paladin players.
Anybody a fan of hammers? It's so good. It looks so good.
Yeah, some
We're
of the
so
things.
excited that we
sounds
can do
good,
these
too.
now. This is
I'm
something that
pretty
we've
sure
been wanting to do for a very long time, and we just didn't have the tech to do skill skins.
Very,
I'm,
very.
I'm pretty sure we just said build for so many people.
I know.
They're
it's
so cool.
We were talking about it. Like, should we base our build based upon the skill MTX? I know. All right, moving on. And a couple of these are smaller. They're not all exciting like hammers. Cherry Blossom Evade.
The little evade effects, I think, are
So
some of my
cool.
favorites. Actually,
Yeah.
You just
They
like
feel good.
I love the subtle ones.
little
Yeah.
touches.
I agree.
Oh, worth noting on Evade this season, it's a lot more responsive. A bunch of offline
Yes.
bugs with it are fixed. It's just better.
Okay. Moving on.
I like this Ross guy.
Cosmic Smite. And just so you're aware, maybe I've tested this, that if you're using you could use a skill MTX and to trigger another skill and use that MTX, so these can all be combined.
So good.
Yeah, I do love having the visual connection between skills in the cosmetics as well.
we don't happen to have a clip of triggering smite with hammer throw, any chance? That would be so nice.
No, we don't have that.
I'll have to use your imagination for now then, I guess.
Right? Moving on.
Your
Yeah.
MTX also applies to skill shrines as well. Just a small thing, but it also applies to any skill that you gain from skill shrines.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That
Yeah, you
is
can,
pretty
you can
cool.
equip lots of skill MTX all at the same time, not just one for each slot that you have equipped either.
Sorry, everybody. I know sometimes the volume's high, sometimes it's low. Each clip is a different volume. All right, moving on. Volatile Reversal Cosmic.
Nice.
Whoa! It's pretty cool. Pretty neat. And we continue. Okay, guys. This is Dragon Claw Rive. I've been playing so much Primalist, I swear I see swipe when I look at this. Tell me unless I'm losing my mind, which I probably am.
I can see it.
You can see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, for the first two swings, yeah.
Yeah.
This is Rive. Dragon Claw Rive. Okay. Itera's Messenger Wings backslot. These ones don't have any audio. You guys probably don't know this. I'm not a wings guy. I never
Yeah,
wear
I'm not a
wings. So
fan
the
of
chat
that.
always gives me crap when
Nah.
they see wings. Okay.
Yeah,
Terry's
just some sort of bet that you can lose to us and force you to wear wings.
They always do that. I'm a wings man now. Chat's going crazy. Moving on. Okay. This is actually, in my opinion, Carve, the best one when it's automatically triggering smite. The Warpath. Holy Warpath.
Spin to win.
It'll hunt you down if you use this while playing Void Knight with Warpath.
Don't buy it. Don't do it.
Right.
Against the TOS.
Okay. Warpath. Spin to win. Moving on. Login screen. So MTX,
what's
historically, if you look at season 0, season 1, your MTX was not actually shown on your login screen.
Right.
Now it is.
Quick question about the ability MTXs. I'm like, I don't typically get MTX, but ability MTX I'm super into. So is this something that you will plan to have on possibly every ability one day? And even going further, will it be multiple for each ability one day?
Yeah, I think it's a very high likelihood that we get all abilities and then multiple per abilities. It's one of these things that we are really excited about internally. We're constantly getting into calls and geeking out about just things that we can do now that we have this tech. Some of the ones that I'm most excited about are like the minion skill reskins, but of course those are the hardest to or the most resource intensive to actually create and implement. But I want a phoenix flying around that's a falcon, or I want like there's just so many cool things that we could do with the minion reskinning. And on our last podcast, people were we will be implementing a lot more skill MTX. If you guys have any ideas for those that you would like to see, we're pretty easy to convince right now. Or Reddit, or what the catalog is going
to pick a theme and have enough with. You should be able to put together a sort of teal theme, like for the if you have red lightning blast.
We have
audio sometimes too.
I figured you guys knew this question was going to come. I could see it going in the chat over and over again. People want to spend money that only play offline. Is there any plans to bring cosmetics to the offline crew?
Yeah, it's something we know people want. We'll do it.
Nice.
Consider it written, consider it done. Moving on. New lightning blast.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, like Ross said earlier, we now have lightning blast where it actually chains, and it feels so much better. It's just a little recolor here, but it feels really cool in game.
Yeah, so it's some skills work well with just a very basic recolor. With some skill effects here, we've created a theme for it, and it's like something new. And with others, simple recolors are actually quite effective. And this is an example of that.
People say this is how you become a Sith Lord, right here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
And we also do have, you mentioned earlier about some skills getting multiple conversions. We do have some already that'll have multiple conversions. Like there's multiple lightning blast conversions, I think.
Okay, somebody in chat literally a few seconds ago said, hey, can we get a reskin for wolves? They must have heard you.
Yep.
This is unbelievable. What happens if I take squirrels? No, just somebody walk me through this.
I think if you take squirrels, it does go to squirrels.
No,
it always defaults to
it?
MTX. It goes to MTX. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so the squirrels will show up as smaller dogs. Is that right, guys?
Is that true?
I don't think they're small dogs. No.
Oh my gosh! I will switch my starting build if I get these as squirrels.
I'm gonna ask the team right now.
They'll just
It's not like a squirrels themed like this. That doesn't happen.
But we did talk about this recently.
So this is a pestilent hound summon wolf skill MTX. Now people are saying hell squirrels. Hey, by the way, since we're speaking of squirrels, when are we going to get that void conversion for squirrels that we get out of the shrine? You guys must get that question all the time too. It's fine.
Mike, what do you
The
think?
Primalist theming itself doesn't lend itself well to a actual void powered skill. There's not enough support in the Primalist tree to actually give a void skill to Primalist right now.
That's
Yeah.
fair. We'll just do void bees then. All right. Moving on. This is the hatchery portal. Hatchery portal.
This one's one of my favorites.
You like this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a Leroy situation. We need to use that egg and that dragon to like run through and break them and stuff.
That's exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
That was one of our Woven Echo plans that didn't quite get across the line, unfortunately.
Oh, geez. Rainbow evade.
Might be coming.
Is there a chest at the end of the evade?
Yeah, right.
Some treasure?
Shattered Frostclaw. Shattered Frostclaw.
The shattered ones are so good.
Oh yeah.
You like
That'll be
this
a
one?
popular one.
I love Frost
You
Claw.
guys-
There's a few themes like this, and they're all really good.
I like the sound too. It's good. Okay. Shattered Meteor. Judd's favorite.
Cool.
That is cool.
And Meteor's another one that's got multiple MTX options for it.
It was hilarious when Mike said on a Friday dev stream that Skill MTX is coming. We all knew that there was at least one Meteor. We knew it. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
Of course.
If I could have pushed 6 through, we
Correct.
would've.
It
Correct.
was the only guarantee.
It was the only guarantee. If you guys don't know it, Top Dog at EHG Judd. His favorite skill is Meteor. Okay.
Always has been.
This is the Slack Hopper Pet, and I'm hoping one of you could tell me what's flying in and out of its shell.
Those are little frogs with wings.
I was like,
Friend.
is that what it is?
They,
It's a frog?
Yeah. They live inside that shell. They're a
That's
mutually beneficial
unbelievable.
relationship.
Oh, nice. There's lore behind it.
Little symbiote.
Oh, it's a frog fairy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I can't get over how the eyes pop out
The eyes are
at
good.
the
The eyes are
here.
good.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. Oh yeah. Now we are moving over to Twitch drops, and there's a couple other ones in here. So come April 17th, your favorite creator, if you gift a sub or do one tier 1 sub. I don't know if Prime sub works, guys. This is the support a creator unique. It is the Corrupted Maelstrom.
I don't think Prime subs work.
Okay.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Primes don't work. All right. So tier 1 or 1 gifted, you can get Corrupted Maelstrom. All right. Next, this is a free Twitch drop. I know total Twitch drops is 6 hours. I don't remember which one unlocks where, but this is the Twitch drop for Crimson Smite.
That's cool.
This is so cool. I know, I like this one a lot. I love that you guys did a couple for Smite too, because it's just like a skill that's used so like everybody uses Smite, right? Smart. All right. Holy Shuriken. Again,
I really like this one
Twitch drop.
because like it's so hard to see the base shurikens, and this one, if you want to see exactly where they're going, this one's so visible. Some people don't want to see where they're going either, but yeah, if you do really want to see where they're going,
So you're
high
saying this is
visibility.
pay to win right here. If you want to see where they're going, this is the pay to win MTX.
I mean, if you could control where they were going, sure, but they have a mind of their own.
Next, Rip Blood. There's one of these out of order. I'll show at the end. Rip Blood Twitch drop. Holy Lightning Blast Twitch drop.
I think I just really like the lightning moves.
Lightnings always look good.
You also see the new chaining here.
Oh, you can see the new chaining in it. All right, I'll let this one play for a sec.
There's a small delay. It feels so much better now. Like very tiny chance of chaining on it, and it just feels so much better.
Because it used to be that you'd cast it and it would just kind of create a web. That little tactical feel just feels way better.
Okay. I think the last one, which is not a Twitch drop. Yes, Voidwalker's Gaze Helmet. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Don't forget the title, Aaron. There's a title involved too.
Some sparkly eyes.
That one's too scary. Too scary. All right. Now, EHG sent me, I believe, an additional 5 clips that I don't have queued up like this. They came in late, but that's okay. So the first one I want to show, and we can finally confirm. Judd's very happy.
Do it.
Meteor.
around.
Meteor.
The BTR.
What?
The B tier.
They are. There's like a
Meteor.
Yeah.
Looks. You take a little.
preferences there, and so we made that an option. So,
And just remember, everybody, that EHG, putting this in as beta. So this is for people that really love WASD, is going to have that option, and in the future, it'll continuously get better.
Nice.
yeah, we heard from the player base. Those that have tried out WASD on other games really enjoyed that. And they're like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to go back to not having WASD as the main control schema. And we're like, okay, let's see how hard this would be to prototype and get in. And with a quick prototype, we pretty quickly understood that it already felt pretty good. And so we invested the additional time in season 2 to get the control schemas and stuff like that set up. So we're excited to hear people's feedback on this. We'll be looking for it.
Sweet.
It is going to be interesting to see how it feels that you
Okay.
can't shoot
The next clip is
at the same
what
time.
is this? Puncture before and after.
Game
I
probably
don't care about that.
Now,
Sorry, guys. I'm just going to try to skip it because I do want to watch some build videos.
improvement, yes.
Okay. Ballista armed construction. Again, I have not seen this. If one of you guys want to.
This is just
Yeah,
the ballista targeting based on context, so it knows that it wants
yes,
to put
yes,
them
yes.
near and
Batch.
You're just going to stick with mouse movement, Chunkster? Yeah, I'm going
Why
to try it
not
out.
look at some unique items? Why not
Just-
look at some unique items? Maybe not everybody has seen all of them yet.
This is the
So we
one.
picked some ones that haven't been released prior to the
This is
patch
the
notes,
Righteous
and I thought we
Fire
could
one.
look at some of these together. So the first one is Downfall of the Righteous. Now, all of these items that we're going to show right now are shown with their maximum rolls, and you'll see the roll ranges. And what this is Mike, should I let you take? I know you worked on this, didn't you, Mike?
yeah, I worked on this one. Yeah, this is a supporter unique actually, and so yeah, it's meant to get that like that curse play style, scaling curse damage. It's focused around Witchfire. You're like splitting usually fire and necrotic damage. I think it's just really fun, unique that kind of lets you sort of unlock new damage source in that tree.
For any Warlock fans out there, with this new relic, you're going to get in the implicit fire resistance and curse damage. You're also going to get up to 15% increased damage. You're also going to get leech from your damage over time, necrotic and fire. You're also going to get more curse damage. Witchfire deals deals multiplicative damage equal to 66% of your increased curse damage. And again, that's multiplicative. But on top of that, while you have both Ignite Overload and Damned Overload, enemies within 10 meters are infected with Witchfire every second.
Inflicted.
This item is sick. We were reading through the patch notes and talking about some changes to Warlock, and I'm like, guys, there's something coming. There's something really, really nice. New Witchfire.
We are
actually-
very powerful.
Yeah, we are last minute. We are adding a visual effect so that the 10-meter area is actually shown here. That helps with the feel of it a lot, because without that, it doesn't feel as satisfying.
Wait a second. So when I put on Downfall of the Righteous on my Warlock, there is going to be a ring around me that shows where the enemies will get witch-fired?
Correct.
One of the many skills
I
that
don't know,
have
man.
a ring dealing damage all the time to enemies that go into it. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Warlock,
that
I
is
love Warlock.
Very, very
This
cool.
is-
Brilliant, people are saying in chat. All right, moving on to an Acolyte relic. This is Unearthed Memories. Wandering Spirits is centered on a gravestone at the target location instead of you. The gravestone grants allies within 12 meters 15% multiplicative necrotic damage over time against cursed enemies. Increased reveal rate for Wandering Spirits, 12 to intelligence. What is a gravestone? Does anybody...
You know, like you go to a graveyard and there's like lots of the
What is
gravestones.
I know what a gravestone is. I
Okay.
mean it like that. I mean, like, what does this actually pull up a gravestone like? Is there a new visual in the game for it?
Yeah.
So
There's so many new uniques, it's impossible to target them all. It's fine. Wandering Spirits is centered on a
there
gravestone at the
is
target
a
location.
new visual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. No, Mike knows. It's all right. Leaks. Moving on to unique number 3. Soul of the Mountain. Soul of the Mountain. Now, lately we've been playing some
Primalist.
Machine Gun Spriggan on stream, and maybe or maybe not, we are preparing for a new Primalist relic, which is this. So with the Soul of the Mountain, you're going to get 1 max Veil Spirits per your 15 attunement. Spirit Thorns has 3% less cast speed per Veil Spirit. Gain a Veil Spirit every second while in Spriggan form. Increased health regen, increased spell critical strike chance, poison, and... Yeah, I didn't even know this one.
Just to note, the mana potion portion of
Primalist.
this cannot crit.
I see.
Smart.
I will read it. This new belt, 45% chance to cast when you hit 50 range intelligence.
I think we were kind of conservative in this regard early on, and I think we are losing.
Yeah. Well, intelligence is one of those stats that it's like it lends itself really well to this like big will be having
They Heartseeker marksmans. The implicits are armor, chance to shred armor on hit, and armor shred effect. Gain 4 stacks of crystal wind per second while moving, and 4 stacks when you evade, maximum 8. Directly using a bow attack consumes up to 4 stacks. Iron glass shield. By the way, earlier somebody was begging me to ask you guys to put in shield cosmetics. So this is just me saying that I
That's a nice shield.
Look better on enemies, and we're looking into having enemies shatter into chunks of ice on death and things like
That's nice.
saying armor unique, and on here it's unbelievable. 24% of damage redirected to your highest health minion on your
Minion.
I mean,
Final unique to show off. This is Grasp of the Blood Mage. On here you've got in the implicit armor, increased cooldown, recovery speed, and some other stats. Up to 25% of hit damage taken from bosses and rare enemies is dealt over 5 seconds or 4 seconds. So good. Chance to bleed on spell hit, leech on spell hit, spell crit chance, and 250% of mana spent reflected to damage as you.
To you as damage.
To you as damage. Yes. Bleed smite, people are saying. So this is a new affix, right? 250% of mana spent reflect this.
reflected. The bees.
They're bees now?
The bees.
They are
They're
changed,
bees.
yes.
Okay.
Everything updates retroactively like that.
Oh,
Not very likely.
0.
All right.
damn! I almost had a chance of playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
geez.
got some lore tidbits here. When a zombie gets old enough, it turns into a bee. So
Oh, there we
Oh
go.
my
Decay.
gosh.
Canon.
What is everyone's spec that they're going to be starting this season with? You can,
Ooh, let's hear
Heart,
this.
Heartseeker, 100%.
Yes.
This is, this is a reference to the old Diablo 2 guided arrow. I think a lot of ARPG players understand that. We were super excited to get the chance to take that as a base and bring it into a new era. Heartseeker is going to be super cool. So Heartseeker for me.
Okay. Wait, Judd, are you going to do Fire Heartseeker, Cold Heartseeker, Triggering Puncture Heartseeker, Throwing Heartseeker?
Yeah, I'm still debating here. I really want to try just going full physical. I'm debating whether I should do. So you've got the multi-shot node that makes it to where you can upfront damage is increased by 75%. I'm not going to take that. I'm going to take Heartseeker, and then I'm just going to be able to spam multi-shot from the back line. So I think I'm going to try to go full physical and crit to begin with, but we'll see.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna change your mind right now. There's a on the fire conversion. There's a buff that grants you fire spell damage, and there's a belt that may or may not drop a meteor on enemies. Crit.
I'm going fire.
And
So
you
you
can
said meteor.
turn Heartseeker to provide you mana on hit. So
okay. And there's no nerfing once this goes in, right?
Correct.
Unless
Good.
it's a bug.
Good. No, it's fine. Not a Heartseeker. Heartseeker would be bugged. Let it be.
That's actually a good idea, Carve, because then with you could actually scale it as spell.
yeah, and then you use a dragon song to get the dragon song procs.
Yep,
You get the meteor
exactly.
procs, and then you use it to generate your mana. Yeah.
So then all you need is just a high crit chance to drop your meteors. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
With enough recurve chance, like you don't even need that high of a crit chance to just pretty frequently get crits.
Yeah.
And what else are you guys playing? I think Ross, Mike, what are your starters?
Yeah, well, I've changed it a couple of times. If the change for the Witchfire unique does, it does have that area, I'm probably playing Warlock there. I just need to check that change got in because it was a last minute addition. Hopefully it's not in a hotfix. And if that's in, that's what I'm playing.
I'm sure it's on the last page of patch notes.
Oh, nice.
We should read those out.
Yes.
I'm probably going physical bleed Heartseeker. That's my plan.
I'm gonna do the build that I wanted to play, but I just couldn't bear with the volatile reversal stuff. So I'm probably gonna start with the mono-stacking Judgment Paladin with an aura, and then just
Just
run
say
around.
you're starting Righteous Fire. Just say you're gonna try and do it. We know.
I can't. No. You'll judge me, so I can't say that.
All right, you're right. I guess that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, it's a judgment, so it makes sense.
Guys, you made the decision to allow us to respec our mastery, which is something that EHG in the past wasn't sure they wanted to do. What about maybe letting our pets be able to pick up gold? Not anything else. We got to pick up the shards, and we got to pick up the keys, and we got to look at the loot, and we got to click on the woven echoes. But maybe, that capybara's got a gold pack on its back, and
know,
the
but
loot
now the
lizard pet
shards
has a
go
gold
right in.
pack on its back. What about maybe pets pick up gold?
If we ever were to do that, and I don't think we currently have plans to do that, we would have some way of providing everyone a pet that would do that for free.
Okay.
Correct.
So I don't think we are planning to do that.
Okay.
Okay. Out of all of you, who's most likely to be taking down Uber Aberoth this season?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Mike, you're saying,
It's
oh,
probably not a good one.
It's not going to be you, Mike? No?
Down to carve that way.
Carve. Okay. All right.
Carve.
I mean, that's fine. Unfair. I'm already done it, but
Oh, that isn't fair.
Oh.
All right. Who's the next? Who's next on the line?
I'll race you guys.
There you go.
You'll see me die on
Okay.
ladder for sure.
Oh,
on
for
my way
sure.
there.
Thoughts around hideouts and being able to provide EHG with an endless flow of money by allowing us to kind of have that end of the world completion area be almost like a mini hideout where we can
Yes.
decorate it and make it look cool. Any thoughts on hideouts?
You know, we have had conversations about this. It is something that we are warm to. There's a lot of technology that would go into creating a hideout hub type system. It would be unlike other hideout hub systems that you guys have seen if we do it. But yeah, there's discussions. There's talks internally about potential there.
Okay, very cool.
That aren't going to make it into the new season, but they're definitely being worked on right now. And what are they?
There are definitely some that are being worked on right now.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm unsure. We could talk a bit specifics.
Okay. I mean, it's just us. It's no one else's. He's here.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Hard to implement a dueling system. Now, the concern with any type of PvP in a game like this is as soon as you say PvP, people have expectations, some higher than others.
Yep.
And as soon as you add expectations in PvP into an action RPG centered around character power and loot, balance is very, very hard. I think if we could set expectations correctly, entering something like a dueling system
Why
would be
would you
very
open that
possible.
Pandora's box, man?
Yeah, we need to
Jeez.
have like a weekend jam on something like that.
Very cool.
Okay. This is another.
My village is primitive, so I need to prioritize development. First, I'll upgrade the crumbling thatched huts.
Each of you a question. Are you starting this season on Legacy or Season? And are you going Merchant's Guild or Circle?
Who cares?
Really fortunate to find, a skilled developer. We good health going.
Be also for people who own the game. Are you going to ever charge for an expansion coming up, or are you still going with the $35, which is pretty damn reasonable these days?
Sure.
Going forward.
Yeah, our goal is to make seasons at a faster pace and be able to monetize those in a way that keeps the studio financially healthy and growing. That is the goal. We're really hoping to see that season 2 and the awesome things that we've added to this and the vast improvements we've made with the cosmetic system, cosmetics in general, the shop. We're hoping to see that is financially going to keep the studio in a really healthy spot. So that's the plan.
Nice.
Cool.
Very nice. When a lightning cosmetic pack. Look, I mean,
and then we have the additional patch notes. Really cool stuff as you go and you traverse.
Okay. Whew. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff. Okay, so where did I have those YouTube videos? Tombs of the Erased. Who did I have? Who? Oh God, what's his name? Epoch builds. Who is it? Dread, right? I watch Dread. What the fuck? Okay. Tornado. What is this? 22 hours ago. No. Last Epoch. Top 6 builds from the community that I trust. Yeah, this is the one that I was watching. Top 5 League starter builds. That's 3 days ago.
Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, this is going to be my top 5 recommended builds for patch 1.2, Tombs of the Erased. So I just want to start out with a few disclaimers. First things off.
I missed what?
and this is a good example of that.
Oh, very cool.
Very good looking. Very good looking. I'm also glad to hear that just ever improving the visuals because
Yes,
they just keep looking better and better.
yeah. You should go back and look at the Kickstarter videos.
You guys show the initial classes and good stuff, and it's been full of favors.
Sure. So we've got slash deaths, which lets you know what your death count is, which is
No,
the one that you get.
no,
as-
everyone's gonna know how many times I've died.
Deal with it.
Oh no! All right, sorry. Go on.
Slash corruption or slash max corruption posts a system message to chat with your character's current highest corruption and timeline. Slash echoes posts a system message to chat with your current character's total number. So it's like you can leave us up while you make the
This 4-minute clip.
Yep. It's a walk through the monolith area.
Gosh, it looks so much better. Gosh, it looks so much better how it transitions.
Yeah. You get the theming and the feel of the zone that timeline is.
Nice.
Little bubbles.
Yeah, I see that. And you can hear the footsteps sound like they're in the area.
People
shield
really
guy,
like
help me.
this. They really like
Yeah,
it. They really like it.
that red sign, the red black hole in the background.
Cool.
Such a good shot.
Got the fire, light rays.
You guys,
Yep,
I'm
this
not
is,
just glazing. This is like incredible looking. Like it looks so good.
Yeah, with some advancements in tech that we have, we'll be able to start making the entire game look more just beautiful all around. This is a good example of utilizing some of the new tools and stuff that we have in place.
Nice.
Does it go all the way up to the top three? Did I miss those? This one's one of my favorites. I don't know why I didn't say this earlier. The the boards and everything and yeah. That gives you a feel of the theming that's coming from that
I like
zone.
this foliage.
Yeah.
That's badass right there.
And this is, I think this is really indicative of
like
the
the
level
HDR.
of attention to detail and just like the cool stuff we're able to add to the game now and how much faster we're able to add these individual things. It's going to just ramp up. I'm glad we came down here. I think the effect on that's updated too. The centerpiece there. That transition never looks bad. I always get like a Death Mountain vibe from this.
A burning black hole. This is just yeah.
And the waypoint model too. I love the new waypoint model. Like it feels like it fits in the world, and it just feels more like appropriate for the world, and yeah.
A question that keeps coming up: DLSS or FSR? When? Is that
When it's ready.
When it's ready. In development. In development.
What is that?
We'd have to ask the
Upscaling?
team on that one.
The upscaling?
No. I meant the There's a meme that's just stuck in my head when he's like in development.
All right.
Yes, I do know what DLSS and FSR is. Sorry.
We
Yeah,
figured.
that's why I paused on it.
All right, that is the whole video. Holy smokes!
Yeah, nice.
The community. I know a bunch. I'm gonna. We'll just.
That's when.
I know.
Very good about serviceability for the launch. Yes.
He's in.
I mean,
That's true.
Lore to the shit. I can't.
Follow Carve, and do you do as many leaks on your social?
Very.
Yeah.
We've even for what guilds could be that would be really awesome and additive for Last Epoch specifically. We would love to hear that. It's something that, as a team we've been interested in since this. We feel like
What
if we were
about-
to say, hey, we've brought guilds, and like the guilds mean that you can chat with your friends in a different colored text. That's not quite hitting the mark. That feels like we can even call it that.
No.
So it's one of those things. If you guys have ideas for what guilds could be that would be really awesome and additive for Last Epoch specifically, we would love to hear that. It's something that, as a team we've been interested in since forever.
Ooh, I got some ideas.
Let's see. What do you guys know the rough estimate of the size of the patch for the season?
Oh, that's a good
Big
question.
Oh, like data,
Like gigabytes. Yeah.
50 gigs, 100 gigs.
That makes that download.
Oh my god, I don't care about that.
if they're not at
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yes. There's some things like some of our character models, like the skin textures and stuff, don't look as
Okay.
nice.
Okay, thank you, Nex. That's awesome. You know, I do have to say, when it comes to the different monoliths, the area, whichever one we go to, that they're all visually different. I think that's gonna be that's good for the game. It's not gonna feel like, Groundhog Day when you're in the monoliths, because it's literally all looks the same. Where was I with the builds? Oh, here we go. Top 5. Okay. GGG just pushed a huge patch. Yes. Yeah. I'm aware. I am very aware. Top 5 builds. Cheater! No, I want some ideas, Brian. I need... I'm not having any inspiration right now. I want to see what these
We have
things
no
look.
idea what kind of content the new patch is going to have, so it might be a little bit different than what you're seeing in these videos.
Warlock!
Also, as well,
I'm in.
none of these builds are meant to do Uber Aberoth, mind you. Like, I did not plan any of these to do Uber Aberoth. I did
What?
a very large amount of solo character found testing, a lot of league start testing. So I took characters from level 1 in solo character found with no gear or anything like that, and pushed them all the way to 300 corruption in their 10 out of 10 Harbinger runs. All of them did it, except for the last one, which we'll talk about. But pretty much the idea is these characters worked off no gear, leveled by themselves, got all the way to the 10 out of 10 Harbingers without too much difficulty or problems, and these are perfect league starters. Now, the idea with these builds is they are meant to get you to like 300 corruption. They're meant to get you farming, and they're meant to either you keep playing them and you refine them yourself and figure out what you want to play, or they're meant to swap off and play something else if you find something else that's more interesting, right?
Dread.
So
No
that's the whole point of these
timestamps,
builds.
bro?
They're not meant to take on Uber Aberoth. They're not meant to do anything like that. They're just simply meant to get from level 1 to 300 in the comfiest way possible. So, with all that being said, let's talk about it, shall we?
Yeah, give him
Now,
some love,
if you haven't
guys.
already, I would heavily suggest leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 30,000 subs, guys. We're doing absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all of the support. It's made the last 6 months just amazing, considering, I've been putting so much work and effort into this. So, thank you guys. Now, let's talk about the build, shall we? So the first build we're going to be talking about right out of the gate is going to be the winner chicken dinner, and that is going to be Chthonic Fissure Infernal Shade Warlock. Out of all of the 0 to hero builds currently that I played, this has to be one of the most explosive and entertaining builds I've ever played. Now, there are some other builds I quote unquote rate higher than it in terms of the 10 out of 10 Harbinger grind, like for instance, Bleed, Hail of Arrows, Marksman, but you really can't go wrong with Infernal Shade. Infernal Shade just has gotten a lot better. So if you don't know how it works, the idea is we cast a brand on the target, and then that brand is reduced in duration thanks to Chthonic Fissure, and then it explodes and it applies ailments. And the idea is we apply a very large amount of ailments. We don't really care what kind of ailments they are because we run a lot of generic damage over time scaling, because a lot of the nodes inside Infernal Shade's tree and Warlock's tree are all generic. They have generic damage over time. And of course, Warlock also has access to a lot of ailment chance, which means, of course, we can focus hella hard into Ignite chance, into Damn chance, into Bleed chance. It's amazing. And it's just amazing watching that counter go up and see how many ailments you can actually apply to an enemy. It's very entertaining. Now, the thing is, though, with this build, there's one caveat. They did nerf the Spirit Plague ward on hit node. So you'll be watching me like do monoliths and stuff like that and do bosses, and I'll be at like 3 to 4k ward. It's not going to be like that anymore. I'm going to maybe at most be at 2k ward at most situations, but that's fine because they buff the absolute crap out of HP. So the defenses on this build are mainly focused around being a hybrid setup. The idea is we run HP and ward at the same time, and we sustain both through leech and through ward gained on hit and stuff like that, and ward per second to allow us to, you know, build chunk. And pretty much this build, this version technically got nerfed, but the new version like is just as good. You just build more HP than you did before, and it's like pretty much the same exact build, nothing changed whatsoever. So now the link for this build will be in the description. The whole level 1 all the way to 10 out of 10 Harbingers is in the description. Now the planer isn't going to be updated for next patch, but like it didn't really change that much. All you have to do is just simply like read some nodes and change them. Like I don't think that there was any specific node that changed on this specific build. So have fun with this one, guys. This one's really fun. I love it so much. All right, the number 2 build on this list is going to be Bleed, Hail of Arrows, Marksman. So I know a lot of people are excited to play Heartseeker, but if Heartseeker ends up being bad for some reason, right? Or if like you don't like the pew pew playstyle, you like the more combo rogue playstyle, and you want a smooth 10 out of 10 Harbinger run and then mess around with Heartseeker, this is the build for you. The idea here is we're building around Sanguine Horde. This makes it so that our bleed chance per second applies to Hail of Arrows, which means that we can scale bleed infinitum. Now, I spent about, I think, all the way to level 80 without getting the quiver with this build. So if you're worried like, oh, you need a mandatory unique, no, it's not that big of a deal. I spent all the way to level 80 until I got the quiver just to make sure that the build functioned without the quiver, right? And the quiver actually is really common, actually. Like, it's actually absurdly common. It's just like, you know, you could get cucked and like, you know, you could spend a while without it. But of course, as well, let's be real, you could always swap over to Heartseeker. It's not like as if Heartseeker's bad or anything, right? So that'll be interesting. The main reason that I love this build so much is because it won every single metric for the 0 to Hero series, right? I leveled it from level 1 all the way to, you know, 10 out of 10 Harbingers. It was super comfy. It did lots of damage. It had pretty good survivability for a marksman, which is getting buffed next patch, mind you. And it had really good speed in monoliths. The only problem is you have to use Dark Quiver and the combo on bosses, which I explained in the video. That is the only thing. That is literally the only problem you have to deal with is the Dark Quiver combo. So, like, if you're okay with doing a slight tongue-in-cheek dance on bosses to kill them quicker, you're fine. This is a great build for you. But of course, in the Monolith of Fate, you don't have to actually do it that often, like the combo. So, like, you know, it's only for bosses when you have to do the combo. But other than that, it's a very comfortable playstyle, especially thanks to all of the leech that we have access to, and of course the bleed on kill eventually when you get a Valdir's Chalice as well. Very comfortable build, very comfortable playstyle, literally takes the cake for me out of like one of the best Zero to Hero runs I've ever done on the channel after doing like 24 of them. Yeah, it's a great build. Link will be in the description below as well. All right, so the third build on this list is going to be Tornado Werebear. I've had a lot of people ask me, hey Dread, is Tornado Werebear bad now? Did Tornado Werebear get nerfed? This build has just taken the community by storm, no pun intended. Like, literally, so many people love this build now, and it was all on accident. Like, this build wasn't even meant to be a build. Like, it was a shit post, because my friend and I were talking about how, hey, you know, you could like, you know, transform into werebear form after, you know, cast a bunch of tornadoes on the ground, you know, wouldn't that be kind of funny? And then we tried it, and then we were like, what the fuck? What's this damage? And that's how we ended up with this build. Yeah. And it's gone through a lot of refinements over the past few months, and I even did probably one of the strongest Zero to Hero leveling runs I've ever done, as you can see the damage on screen. And it scaled all the way into endgame, and it's one of the faster boss killers that I've been playing. Now, of course, you can take this all the way to Aberoth. I don't know if you could take it to Uber Aberoth. I'm not entirely sure, you know, because we don't know what Uber Aberoth is like. But there have been some people that have taken this all the way to Aberoth, and it's been great. Some people have been taking it to like 1,000 corruption. If you just want to play Tornado Werebear and that's your shtick, here you go. It's still good. It didn't get nerfed. It technically got buffed. The mana cost on Tornado actually got buffed, and HP got buffed in general. So you're going to end up with way more HP than you see in these videos, right? So yeah, this build's great. I don't know, man. If you like the combo playstyle, if you like doing a lot of damage for, you know, your effort, it's great. If you don't like the combo playstyle where you press a bunch of buttons to do damage, you will not like this build. So, but it does auto aim for you, which is nice when you're going through monoliths. So like, if you're okay with like turning your brain off and doing a small tidbit of a combo every single time, you know, you want to do stuff, it will aim for you. It will kill bosses for you. Pretty much the idea here is you're not really fighting the enemies. You're fighting your own willingness to do the combo. So if you're okay with that, this build is for you. The link will be down in the description as well. The next build on this list is going to be Erasing Strike Void Knight. So the version of Erasing Strike that I ended up playing is a dual wielding build that is meant to be as comfy as possible, as early on as possible. The idea of this build is to simply take this character, right, level it, and then swap into World Splitter later. Okay, that's the whole point of this, because I can't recommend just playing World Splitter on day one, because playing World Splitter requires a decent amount of gear to play, while this build takes almost no gear to play, and it's gotten buffed immensely. Not only did one node in, you know, like what is it called, Erasing Strike's tree turn into a 40% more damage multiplier for the build, which didn't exist there before. Void Essences now give you like more damage now instead, like 18% more damage if I'm not mistaken. You also have base crit at the top of the tree. You also have like so many new nodes that do so much damage. I will make sure to update the planner on this one, because this is the only build on this list that has gotten significant passive tree changes. I will make sure to make an update on this, by the way, in the description if you're curious about that. So if you want that, it'll be down below. But pretty much this build, the moment I got to level 40 and I respec'd into it, it was absolutely amazing all the way through. And it's exactly what I want when I want a melee build. Like when I think melee build in Last Epoch and a good melee build, this is the build that I want. So have fun. It's been buffed. You're going to have more HP as well. Have fun with it. Of course, you know, either you can keep playing this version and do a lot of damage, or you can swap into World Splitter and clear the entire screen every single time you click a button. So, you know, like I said, this is just meant to get your 10 out of 10 Harbinger run and start farming for World Splitters. So link will be down in the description below. Now, unfortunately, the last build on this list is an experimental league starter that I plan on league starting. It's Lightning Fissure Smite Paladin. Now, the footage in the background is not what you're going to be playing, by the way. It's just going to be some generic footage, but the video that I'll be linking down below will explain this build. The idea is
Wow,
we're
he's playing
using the new
Smite.
fissure, the newly buffed and fixed fissure, to do copious amounts of damage over time to enemies with Smite. If you are a self-cast Smite enjoyer, if you like the idea of being like a paladin, calling down lightning and, you know, putting
You're going
goopy
Void
ground
Knight,
on the
Brian?
ground, right, and deal a bunch of damage, this is going to be the build for you, and it's going to be the build that I league start, right? Hopefully they fix all the bugs. Hopefully it's working, but Paladin looks really cool next patch, so I'm really excited to league start Paladin, and I'm really excited to play this build. There's a lot of cool things going on, like being able to abuse the crit multi to lightning damage over time conversion at the top of Paladin. You can also abuse devotion mana stacking as well. You can also abuse elemental damage over time affixes. You can just, like, it'll be so nice to play a self-cast Smite build that actually does giga damage, and that's my current plan with this one. So if you want to see the updates to this build, I will be playing it live on stream on Twitch, and I will be making updates on YouTube as well. Unfortunately, I can't really give you too much details because the build doesn't exist yet, but what I can do is I can link to the leveling guide, the leveling that I'm going to follow to play this build. I'm probably going to level with the character with like the hammer throw stuff until level 40, and then swap into Smite Fissure when I feel like I'm comfortable enough to do so. So stay tuned for that. If you want to practice this build, do the leveling run with the hammer stuff all the way to 40, and then like just redo the hammer leveling, and that'll be as much practice as you can get right now. Now, that's going to be it for this build. Like I said, very experimental, but it's something that I'm going to be playing. So whether or not it is good, I'm going to be playing it. Thank you guys for watching the video. Now, these are just 5 builds that I recommend currently. Of course, there's a lot of different builds right now that I've played recently. Almost every single character that I've played that says 0 to hero in the title, all of them are freshly leveled and tested. None of them got directly nerfed in a quantifiable way except for the detonate.
When was this one? Oh, this one was a day ago. Devouring Orb, Void Knight, Infernal Shade.
Be the first to watch at home.
Wait for it. Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we're going to be going over another league starter, and this time we're going to do Infernal Shade Crit Lit. My personal preference is playing this build. I would heavily suggest playing this build at least all the way to level 40, level 50, level 60 before swapping into the Infernal Shade Crit setup, which will show. But essentially, you're just going to follow this build, literally play it all the way to level 60, 70, or whatever, and then swap when you feel like you're comfortable, right? Swap when you feel like you're comfortable to swap into a different build and use the mastery respec. Unfortunately, leveling Lich is notoriously annoying as hell, so it's way better to just simply level as a warlock like this build. And this is 1400% increase, more health and damage, right? Now, if you don't know, a few months ago, there was an event called the Skeleton Event, which like had a bunch of really tough, disgusting mobs, which we'll, interact with here soon. As you can see here, Infernal Shade just completely blowing away the screen even right now, considering that we're at 1400% more health and damage, right? It's pretty good, especially considering that it's very casual. Like, you just walk around summoning zombies and cast Infernal Shade every so often, and it feels very comfy, right? But what I want to show you here is once he finds a skeleton pack. Now remember, these skeleton packs, they are absurdly strong. They were in the event, these guys. So you see those auras? These guys are some of the tankiest enemies in the entire game. Oh, and you just killed them all. Hey, look at that rare. That rare was like 5 times as tanky as normal rares. Oh, it's dead. So Infernal Shade is pretty fucking strong, turns out. So if you want a very strong build that scales well to endgame, remember, Infernal Shade is going to do double this amount of damage. And I mean double this amount of damage. Very interesting that they decided to go about doing it this way. I don't know why, but it looks pretty good, right? Let's skip to like some single target here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Here you go. Here's some single target. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Here you go. Oh, wow. Look at that. The boss is getting deleted at 1400% more health and damage. Now imagine that, but twice as much damage. Right? Isn't that going to be crazy? Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So he decided to be nice enough to make me a new planner here. We can full-heartedly abuse Mantle of the Pale Ox, because remember, when we summon zombies, we can summon the little like worms after the zombies, which can take hits for us thanks to Mantle of the Pale Ox. So this build just got a gigantic defensive piece. We're still going with a wrong warp, of course. Like same kind of setup,
It's so
right?
comfortable.
Infernal
I
Shade
like it.
really likes levels, so having something like this plus Infernal Shade would be really cool. Obviously, this is the most min-max of min-max ever. Like I said, like this build will work on any amount of investment. It is very strong in general. I'm just showing you guys the top end of the top end. Like here's like a better progression standpoint, right? Just like a wrong warp and all that, right? But still, very, very strong set of gearing. But you just work up into this. You just grab double cycle putrescence eventually. Like if you want to play a build that lets you play the game for the whole patch, this is the kind of build for you, especially after them buffing the fucking crap out of Infernal Shade. Like I said, they really did just go and buff it by 200, like 100% more damage. Because if you see here, Shade Eruption here, that used to be 100% damage effectiveness, and now it's 200%. I don't know why. I don't know why they buffed it. I don't know why, but this is definitely the way to go. This is definitely the way to go if you want to play it. Like I said, though, it looks very beautiful, and I'm really happy with how it looks. Thanks to Antez putting so much work into this. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without him on this regard in terms of Infernal Shade. Him and I, we've been really just pushing the absolute limits of Infernal Shade. We have been big Infernal Shade pilled, and ooh, look at that. That was a freaking stupid event mod pack. Those won't exist next patch. Those literally don't exist next patch. Oh my god, it's so much damage. It's so much damage. It's gonna get doubled. It's literally gonna get doubled. Why'd they think this was okay? Why'd they think it was okay? I'm literally crashing out right now. Why'd they think it was okay? Why are they buffing it by 2 times? Why? It didn't need it. Now, there's some other versions of this build. You can go Necromancer and abuse Ghostmaker technically with some certain setups. You can also go Warlock too if you really want to. You can just go Warlock with it, but the preferred method is Lich, because Lich just has a lot of just generic more damage multipliers inside of its tree. It also has a lot of increased damage. It's just like pretty much Lich is like the Giga Gamer version. Like as you can see, the mobility is really good too. In terms of that, one thing you will probably eventually want is the one affix that transports your minions with you, because being able to transport the little like zombies that spawn, it'll be really nice to be able to do that. So it's definitely something you should do. But yeah. All right, like I said before, you're going to be leveling as Chthonic Fissure, Infernal Shade. This build is already like a pedigree, literally like got me all the way from level 1 to 90 in a few hours, like maybe 10 hours at most, 10 to 11 hours. And it carried me the entire way, right? Like very, very strong. And you can just simply play this build all the way to like maybe 1,000 corruption if you really want to. Although I would suggest swapping it to the crit Infernal Shade setup, as it's going to be blitheringly OP. And if I wasn't already leveling, like if I wasn't already league starting if I wasn't already league starting the Smite, damage over time stuff, like I showcased already, I would be league starting like Crit Infernal Shade. Like legitimately, I would be really starting Crit Infernal Shade. If you want to know what my second league starter was, Crit Infernal Shade. So have fun with this one, guys. Now, with all that being said, this has been Dread. I'll have to go do something else. I am going to be streaming Last Epoch on the day of when like stuff happens. I might try to figure out how to stream on YouTube as well, so look forward to that. Also, as well, if you want, you can always join my Discord and you can come down and submit your league starter to me.
I gotta say, guys, that's Dread did a good sales pitch on that one. He you know how I gravitate to Warlock. Okay, we watched that. We watched that. We watched that. These are the patch notes. I'm not going to watch any more of those. That's the intro I used. We talked about basically what's happening in the next 48 hours. So tomorrow they're going to start deploying the changes. So there's some downtime. This is I fucked up. I went too far. These are the Twitch drops. We already covered that. I don't know. What next? What did you say for the build planner? What did you say? Is there? I don't think it's on their system, is it? No. Anyway. Oof. LastEpochTools.com. Okay. Cheers. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Loop filters, build planner. Hello? Yeah. Okay, I've used this before. Oh, got Tomb of the Erased. Nice. Sammy, why did you quit BOE 2? Yeah. Hey, what can I say? What can I say? There's not enough time. There's not enough time for me to say. All right, everybody. We are going to call it. Let's put the music on. Thanks for watching, everybody.